pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Consider approval of local law number 3, reduce the speed limit on Tompkins Road and Railroad entry to 25 miles per hour.
I'll make a motion for the public hearing.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting's open, public hearing. Anybody like to say anything about it? Or?
Oh, yeah. Mark Palczewski, 214 Tompkins Road. So if this is going to affect the road I live on, because for Tompkins, where are the signs going to go for the 25 mile an hour speed limit? Do you have an idea? Where are you going to put the physical signs that say 25 miles an
Is
hour?
that mic on? Lift it up a little bit.
What's that? Oh,
It's on.
right. Where are you going to put the signs? Where are you going to put the signs for the 25 mile an hour speed limit on Tompkins Road?
That'd be the police and department public works would work that out.
What's that?
The police department and call from public works would work that out.
Okay, okay. And I'm glad it's being done, but it's 2 years, it's been 2 years in the making, and unfortunately, it shouldn't take 2 years to do something that's simple. So, anyway,
Yeah, I know, I understand.
yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, I think it was mentioned.
Yeah, well, my neighbor next door, West Side, he got the stop sign in Beaver Dam and Goodwill. I got the stop sign by your neighborhood, I got the stop sign by Roosevelt, and the one over at Chandler and Cardinal. That was Rich Niedermeyer pushed on that, we got that there too. So we're trying our best.
What does that have to do with the 2 years that it took to
It
do
has
this?
to do with controlling the traffic.
No, I'm saying why, not that, my question is, or my point was, it took 2 years to do this, that's a long time for something very simple. I mean,
Agreed. When we moved in, the only stop sign here from 84 to into the development plan, into the village was Railroad Avenue. So it was a speed trap, and just before we moved in, 2 weeks before we moved in, a 6-year-old was killed on the corner of Roosevelt and Goodwill. So I hear what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, why does it take 2 years to get something simple done, like a speed limit sign? I'm not talking about the traffic, I'm not talking about why did it take 2 years to do something this simple.
We have it now.
What's that?
We have it now.
I know you have it now, but why did it take 2 years?
We want me to say more.
I don't know. I don't want to put, I'm not going to speak for you. If you have something to say, say it, but it shouldn't take 2 years to do something this simple.
We're still working on fire hydrants, and that's a year.
Okay,
Let's move
sure,
on.
bring everything
Anybody
in.
else have anything?
Can I ask a clarifying question if you're done speaking, Mark? Jake, not to put you on the spot, but I don't know. Is there like a New York State DOT, or it's not a DOT requirement, but is there some kind of standard yardage between signs where we would have a general idea of where they would be probably?
I don't believe we need that on village roads because they're all pretty, I know a state road, if it's not posted, it's 55, anything other. So, but as far as how far the signs need to be apart, honestly, I don't.
No minimum or maximum?
I'll have to
Okay.
check into that.
Okay.
But I would think one on each entrance should be sufficient.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to speak on this?
We're almost there. So, this is great news for at least 2 streets. As I brought up, and we're doing this like one at a time. We're doing it in piecemeal because would take an act of Congress, I guess, to do them all at once. But I hope that you're going to continue on after you get done with these 2 streets and look at the other streets that need to be done and do them as well, please. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak?
Doug Hantush, 2 Hanover Street. Just a reminder, and I guess to the chief and stuff, that a lot of these e-bikes are going better than 30 miles an hour down the block. It's really it's really scary sometimes. it's no threat to me, but I see these kids and I say, we're gonna be picking one of these kids up with a shovel one day. They go right through, they blow the stop signs, they just drive like maniacs. And I hate to sound like an old buzzard, you know, but I don't wanna see one of these kids get killed, you know? So I hope that we pay attention to the e-bikes as well, becoming more and more prevalent in the village.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on this subject? Okay, then we consider the matter closed. Take a motion to close the public hearing. Second? All in favor on this?
Aye.
Okay. It's in effect. All right, now we can open the meeting, and I know,
No, it's not an effect, we just closed the meeting.
right, so, again, this is a special thing for me. I'll say the pleasure of reaching. By myself, but with all of this, to open the meeting up.
Yeah. we have to do it right now.
I'm sorry. I can never say that enough. All right, going on abstract, number 2026/2027, A is an Adam, $494,636.39. Vote on that?
We just had a
All
public
right.
hearing.
Going back to the public hearing, did we vote? I thought, I said, make a motion. Do we have to vote on it? So that's-
The speed limit?
Right.
Yeah, you close the public hearing.
Now we have.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, for- Well, it's a type, first of all, it's a type of action under secret, there's no secret implications with the parking, so that's the first step, and then you go to Tom.
So I make a motion to vote on changing the speed limit to make it 25 miles an hour on the Railroad Avenue and Tompkins. I'll make that motion. Second?
I'll second.
Favor?
Second for discussion, all the proper paperwork has been filed.
You filed it the day after, not the same before. Thank you.
Okay, now it's passed.
And we,
Call for
no,
roll call.
and
All right. Cynthia?
this was,
You're gonna make a motion to, vote on it?
We did.
yeah.
Now you see
So
why it
we're
took
in
2 years.
discussion.
So I have Steve made the motion,
Right.
Randy second for discussion.
Okay, you got a discussion, so all in favor?
I want to just make sure that there's nothing missing, or, and we can reuse this while going forward if we want to change additional.
Yes, it's, this is
Or
the
it's-
draft local law,
okay.
you're gonna change additional streets.
Okay, that's it. Ready?
And with moving forward, we utilize the same roadmap that we did for these, if we find other streets
Correct,
that need to be changed, we can do the same.
as long as they're village roadways, correct?
Thank you. You still have to post.
Correct, so they have a public hearing.
Right.
Roll call vote. Randy?
Aye.
Dorothy? Aye.
Aye.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Okay, now it's passed. Abstract number 2026/2027 is at $494,636.39. Make a motion to accept it?
Second.
All in favor on this? Cynthia?
Yes. Aye.
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 I want to speak on something, and I think I have the right to, because I went to enough on this, and it's in reference to, it's prepared speech. I want to speak tonight about an issue that stirred strong feelings across this village. Not everyone who voices their opinion sits in this room, but I heard you. Every day as I walk through our village, residents stop me to chat. No secret, I walk through this village constantly. Sometimes I wake up at 11 o'clock at night and walk through it on a nice day. There are neighbors, family members, businesses, just friends. The message I heard over and over again was clear. People did not want our sewer plant more than doubled in capacity to take up 500,000 additional gallons per day from the town, and I stood with you. When the so-called joint feasibility study was brought forward, I opposed it. I knew exactly where it would lead, towards consolidation and the loss of local control. As mayor, I didn't just vote no, I acted. I directed our staff not to allow outside contractors into our facility. I took that step knowing full well it would bring backlash to me, and it did. There were threats, there was pressure, there was talk of legal action, but I was prepared to stand my ground and fight for this village. And today I'm proud to say it worked. And at their last meeting in June, the town supervisor announced that they were moving forward with building their own sewer plant on Neely Town Road. That means this issue is off the table. The push towards consolidation has stopped. Could he come back someday? Maybe. But for now, the door is closed. Now we are moving forward on our terms. We are going to focus on our plans, our needs, and our future. I will be directing our team to work with our engineers and develop a clear plan. We will identify the most responsible way to invest in our infrastructure, pursue every available grant, and build the financial strength to minimize long-term costs to all residents. Preserving this village isn't just about protecting buildings or its history. It's about protecting the way of life that people came here for and continue to stay here for. We have something worth defending, and I will continue to defend it every single time. Thank you. Next up is departments. Jake, you want to go first?
Sure. Once again, very simple. For water, 313, which actually is not that bad considering how hot it was. So people are listening, not watering unnecessary. I appreciate that. It makes a big difference. That's a big help. Sewer last month, or no, I'm sorry, this is May for sewer. I didn't get June's yet. Was 360,000 gallons. We had 4 inches of rain. I want to touch base on the sewer plant. That rotor that broke over the winter will finally be here Thursday. So we will we'll be getting that up and running. Get that other oxidation ditch squared back away. We'll be good to go there. That's coming from an emergency sewer account. That's not out of the budget. So money's not an issue with that. Then garbage was 143 tons. Recycling was 19.5. The only other thing I would like to say, compost. The compost down there at DPW is getting out of control with, on weekends, the amount of stuff that's getting dumped. Talked to Joe. We are gonna start looking at plates. He's got a camera. So we're gonna dump trailers, dump trucks and stuff that come in.
I'm sorry, by compost, you mean the brush that we're allowed to drop?
Yes, yep. The guys will spend 3 days cleaning it up. There's not a drop down there. We come in the next morning, it's full again. There's no way it's all coming from the village. So we're gonna start reading plates. If we find a plate that is not registered to a village resident, you might get a fine. We'll go about that. We're gonna start there first. If that does not work and it continues, then we're gonna have to talk about closing it on nights and weekends.
Do we have a fine?
$250.
Process? But do we have that process already in place?
Yes.
For illegal dumping?
Yes, because the sign does say no illegal dumping, $250 fine.
I have a question, Jake, on that.
Go ahead.
What if someone's utilizing someone's vehicle? Like, not everybody has a truck to do that. And if I'm gonna borrow my friend's truck from the town and drop it
I'm
off?
sure that's gonna be an issue.
And if that happened though, couldn't they bring their, proof of their residency?
I mean,
Yeah.
if that's a case, that's it.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of hiccups in it. My only other option is we either have to pay somebody to sit there nights and weekends, or simply close close it at 3:30 and open it at 7 o'clock, and it's gonna be closed all weekend. Which a lot of residents are gonna be upset, because I get it, a lot of them work, so they come at night, but it's just, it's out of control.
Most
Jake, you're
people
talking
work
about
at night.
like large loads, it's not just somebody.
Exactly, we're talking
It's
whole
contractors
trees.
and landscapers
Right.
and things.
So
that
are we,
are
are you
dumping
saying
their
we're
stuff there.
installing a camera or utilizing the police?
We already have a
yards?
camera.
Okay, then that, yeah.
Is there
That's fine,
anything that
but-
says no commercial dumpings?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, there's signs,
Is
been there
there
forever.
something you wanna maybe put out that we can help you create to ask for the, what do you call it, refuse, rubbish, what is, I mean, describe, to be put in a certain way, like, can you please make sure it's stacked neatly or chopped to a certain size? Are there some requirements, maybe we can,
I believe,
Not
I
attached
believe you're not
to-
supposed to dump anything over a branch 8-inch diameter.
okay, maybe we should refresh people's memories on what it is. Like if
It's-
a tree falls and you have gigantic logs,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be dumping it there.
It's not coming from the village, Randy,
Okay.
because, like, like I said, as soon as we go, you can sit there and watch the trucks roll by. So everybody knows we leave at 3:30, 4 o'clock it starts rolling in. So, all right.
Jake, before you take off, I wanted to ask something of the board. I know the treasurer put in some restrictions into ordering, and from a practical standpoint, Jake's got small repairs. If he's having to come to us with every enough bolt, screw, can we start a discretionary emergency fund for him? Just to set aside maybe 2,500 expenditures or less, he can get them and then we can approve them after the fact? Just to make his job not as difficult as we could possibly make it? Does anybody have a problem with that?
Use the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we have to
Let's
look
see if the
at.
treasurer has to say on that, how they,
Yeah.
how they can do that. I would like to make your job as easy as possible, but we have to go by the rules.
That's what I'm asking, is there a way to fit that in the rules?
We require the village to change the procurement policy. In order to change the procurement policy, we have to be presented to the board.
That's what I was asking. You brought it up, we discussed it, and we talked about being ready to hear more about it. We didn't put anything in place last
No,
meeting, correct?
There's already a procurement policy in place.
Right, every year we update it, but there was nothing new put in place based on your presentation at the last
I
meeting.
didn't recommend anything new to be put in there, that's why. There's nothing about your procurement policy right now that is in violation of any kind of rule, statute, or anything.
Then I don't understand the change. You have the department
Thanks.
heads who make out the POs and sign the POs. The employees don't ever sign the PO. It's
Yeah.
always the department head. The department heads are in charge of their budget, and they keep good tabs. I know Joe and Jake are very conscious of their budget, so they're not gonna be wildly spending. I don't know why
We
we
did not
have to.
approve that at the last
Yeah.
meeting. We approved
I
the
don't know why it has to
resolution,
change from what it's been all along, because it's been working.
the surety bond, and the change in signatures. We didn't approve any new, it was talked about, we did not approve any new
Yeah.
system yet. It hasn't been
Correct.
presented and we haven't approved anything, so if there's a concern, you should definitely,
The concern is that
Talk about-
right
Brian,
now,
why
the
don't you,
village is
why don't you be the next
opposition.
department head we go?
No, you're good.
Sorry, I have a lot of things working, I apologize.
Can you turn on the mic?
What's the procurement policy that the village has in place? While I
I don't want you to
understand,
like really talk into it.
okay, so while there's a procurement policy in place, and while the village believes that they are following it, they are not. The problem is that in the procurement policy of the village, it clearly states a requisition form must be approved prior to a purchase order being executed. In order for a purchase order to be executed, therefore, a requisition form has to be in place. Right now, the village doesn't have one. There's not one that exists anywhere. What I brought with me tonight is a requisition form for everybody to fill out, subject to, obviously, if the village does not want it, this, then they need to change their policy, because the policy does not indicate that there are any loopholes, any kind of extenuating circumstance, anything like that. So unless the village wants to change the policy right now is requisition, creates a purchase order, approved by the board, is ready for execution to purchase.
Do you have copies of that?
I did not bring a procurement, I was not expecting this tonight, but I can definitely provide a copy of that procurement policy.
No, the requisition form. I have the procurement.
So what you're saying, Brian, is before we buy something, we okay it. We don't go ahead and buy it and then approve it.
Correct. There's only language about dollar figures in the procurement policy when it comes to levels of being able to purchase things. So up to $2,500, a purchasing decision maker, which are the department heads, can make the decision to just go out, find a source, buy from that source. $2,500 to $19,999 requires 3 bids. You go out, you get 3 bids, lowest cost, feasibly acceptable, then you can go ahead and get it approved. $20,000 for normal business, $35,000 for Jake's business, requires a contractual obligation of the village in order to execute. That is the only time in that whole policy that is mentioned. So, like I said, you have to change your policy in order to make exceptions for small purchases and emergencies.
Thank you for
Okay.
Thanks, Clark.
bringing that, for clarifying the process so we can decide what to do. Is there a world in which, and I'm asking you to speculate, I know, so Lena will try and say, be quiet. We, at some point, started using the PO as what we thought was a requisition form, because sometimes that happens over time. I'm not saying that's right, but maybe the intent, or originally it was being used as a requisition form, and now we are using it as a PO and signing them before and after purchases.
Is it just to have the paper trail? Is that what this form is for?
You're supposed to be tracking your
So
balance.
an employee comes and says, Jake, I want to buy whatever. And he gives you this, and then you fill out the PO. So it's just one more piece of paper.
So, if I may interject, part of the reason why you have this in place is what's in front of you guys, what's in front of the board that I sent to you guys the other day. With the way currently the way the village operates, we buy things, and then we worry about, do we have money in that line, do we have money here, do we have money there? Luckily, in FY26, we have enough money to move around in order to cover these purchases. If we did not, we would be anti-deficient. If the village is anti-deficient, then that can cause a lot of problems for the government of the village of Montgomery. That is why, that's part of the reason why getting it approved prior to purchase is important. But again, you as the board can make the determination how you see fit.
So I'm Libra A, I want to buy 10 pens. So I fill this out for 10 pens, I give it to Jake, Jake signs it, fills out a PO as he typically would, and
You would
puts
not
that
fill
in.
out a PO. You would submit that requisition to the treasurer's office. Treasurer's office would then review it, make sure we have the money in that budget line to go ahead and get that purchase. If for some reason we don't, we create that document that you see in front of you with the budget transfer. We transfer the money into that accounting line, so we have it there. It gets filled out in our office, and the requisitions along with the purchase orders get presented to the board for approval. Once the board approves, they can sign those purchase orders, we get them back, we send them back to the department, they can go ahead and execute the purchase that they're looking for.
And how long does that process take?
As long as it takes for the board to approve, so that's part of the cumbersome part of it. The board only meets twice a month. The board only meets once a month in the summertime. It requires considerable planning on the purchaser's aspect to plan out what they need and order. Again, it's done in a lot of other places. This is not an anomaly to have the village of Montgomery.
No, I just want to make sure if we're discussing it, everyone understands what we're talking about.
Oh, no.
And that leads to what I was asking is, can we have a fund when things break, you can't wait 2 weeks for us to vote on it?
So, in the case of an emergency, the one that would approve purchases would be the mayor. The mayor can, in an emergency, in a true emergency situation, go ahead and approve emergency purchases to fix whatever emergency is out there. The problem you get into is what defines an emergency. You would have to define that in order to say, okay, Mayor Emery, you can execute because this is an emergency, because everything starts to become an emergency if you wait too long to order things, or you don't plan ahead.
In the past, Brian, we would get a call on the phone. We need 3 trustees. And it was approved over the phone. I've since learned, not through you.
That does not seem like that's legal, but okay.
You just,
Definitely not, right?
Definitely not.
that's how the practice was going in the past, so.
But to your point though, just because I know in other jurisdictions, sometimes they authorize department heads, again, without violating general municipal law, because I know those requirements would say, okay, up to a certain amount, I think what you're getting at. Is like, okay, so you have to change your procurement
Right,
policy,
you
which is
have to-
right,
you have
but
to
you can
change
change the
policy.
procurement policy to say, okay, department heads have up to X amount to spend. That way you can keep the business going in terms of your department, without having to wait for a board meeting to spend. But again, you can set limits as long as they don't violate and exceed those thresholds of the GML.
Yeah, I chatted with Jake, and he was pretty comfortable with 2,500, so we can figure out some way.
Is that, Brian, would that be 2,500?
That would be 2,500 in the aggregate of a purchase.
One purchase, like not so much 25 of them.
Right, but if it's a $2,500 pen, even 3 of them, you can't order them separately and say, I'm meeting the threshold. That's called micro purchasing.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. That's a violation of the intent of the policy. So it's the total purchase cost, $2,500.
So to go back to the pen example, if you were pens, if you had that in your procurement policy that changed, say, okay, I can spend up to $2,500, you can spend that, but don't have to wait for board meeting to get that done. But again, you said it's gotta be, you have to change your procurement policy for each department, but worth those special.
If it could legally be done, and we wouldn't be at fault, but people are answering, oh yeah, I'll approve over the phone, I would have no problem doing that, if we can legally do it.
You cannot legally do that. That
Change the
violates the
procurement
meeting
policy?
law and business of the board doing it outside the public's.
Oh, I think he meant the procurement policy.
Procurement policy.
Can we
The
change
procurement
that?
policy can be changed. I mean, you guys are the policy makers, so you can change policy. I
You
wouldn't,
can set the limits for like, you know, those for 2,500, for 5,000, whatever the limit may be for each department. that you can do.
right, but I would caution the board to be careful about what limit you set, because you're gonna end up getting the same behavior if you set it too high.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna get the same behavior if you set it too high. So, other municipalities that I looked at, I think 1,000 was like the highest that they allowed internal managers to make the decision to go ahead and purchase.
Can we make it different from department to department, like his stuff costs a ton more than
Right, so
the office supplies?
it already is a difference with the DPW now, because the DPW has higher thresholds for whether they need to see bids or get contractual things and stuff like that already. So obviously, yes, you can change based on the public.
So we need to add this to the next agenda of the discussion and
I know going back to my past employment, whenever I did need something, I have to put a requisition
consideration of.
So I get where you're coming from here on this.
For practical purposes, who writes the procurement policy? Is that something you do, or is that something you do? Is it
I
something
think we can work together, right, like work with,
Okay.
And I prefer to have the department heads working together with this
Yeah.
too, because it's gonna be an issue for them.
Is that something?
And they're gonna know the amounts.
Today?
no, you just direct me, you know, you direct me to work with staff to work with the new procurement policy.
And Brian, we have our meeting this Tuesday, we can discuss this further, if you have any other questions, bring to you, or would you like us to email it?
You can email me if you have questions, I can answer questions.
Brian, I'll chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor Ember, do you want to address next budget meeting?
You know what, you might as well, Brian. I didn't know Brian from the home wall. I interviewed him. I liked what I saw. There was other good people there too. Obviously, we're finding out a lot of things. A lot of things ran certain ways that shouldn't have been. And Brian and I spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks here learning about stuff. And Brian presented.
Okay. So Now I'm gonna get to the speech that I actually prepared for everybody.
Can you make that a little louder, Brian?
I can make it louder, I don't know what's going on with it.
Right.
Try that, Brian.
All right. Oh, it's loud.
Too much? Which one was it?
I think it was that one.
It's right above it.
Okay, so, good evening, Mayor, members of the board, and residents of the village of Montgomery. Since my last report, I've been working on several key issues affecting the village, and I would like to update you on the progress that has been made and the recommendations now before you. First, at the last meeting I presented recommendations to strengthen our purchasing controls, which we've already gotten to. Hopefully, starting on August 18th, you'll start seeing those requisition forms for your approval, based subject to any policy change. Going forward, the trustees' auditing role should be easier. You should have, with each completed action, the 3 clear pillars for inspection: a requisition form, a purchase order, and a receiving report or invoice after the fact of the purchase. This will provide the board with a clear and complete audit trail for each purchase. Okay? So I want to now get into the meat of what I want to talk about tonight. I want to begin tonight by explaining a set of things that we are making, the set of changes we are making on how the village handles its money. And then turn to the, sorry, flustered. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the accounts that the village currently has, bank accounts. Since the last board meeting, the board has granted me the ability to actually view the accounts of the village, and I've seen some things that make it a little more cumbersome to audit and account for village funds. To improve the way we track, account for, and present the village's finances, before the board are resolutions authorizing the treasurer to establish several separate bank accounts at Orange Bank and Trust Company, and that's the company we use right now with our general fund. These accounts are designed to keep major categories of village funds distinct, so that deposits and disbursements can be traced more clearly and reported more transparently. Under this resolution, the treasurer will be authorized to open and maintain, in the name of the village of Montgomery, separate accounts for the sewer account, the water fund, the general account, which already exists, a prior fiscal year operating account, a grants fund account, and an undesignated funds account, which is where our excesses or leftover monies can be moved. Each of these accounts will be used for the receipt, deposit, safeguarding, transfer, and disbursement of village monies related to their particular purpose. Separating the funds in this way strengthens internal controls, improves the clarity of our financial records, and enhances public understanding of how village funds are being used. It also makes it easier for the board, auditors, and residents to see at any point how much money is on hand in each major area of village operation. The designation of Orange Bank and Trust as a depository and the creation of these accounts are intended to support better tracking and reporting, not to change the underlying fund structure or legal purposes. The same statutory and policy rules will continue to apply to how village collects revenue, spends money, and maintains reserves. We will simply be doing so in a more organized and transparent account structure. Over the past several weeks, I've been working closely with the mayor to identify practical and reasonable solutions for the village. After reviewing our financial situation, I have concluded that 2 issues in particular can be addressed using a portion of the village's undesignated or unappropriated fund balance. With that framework in place, I want to turn this issue to issue number 1. The need to repair several fire hydrants, particularly 3 hydrants that are currently bagged and out of service. And I put in here to thank the fire chief and the DPW for putting those bags over those hydrants. In front of the board tonight is a resolution I prepared for your consideration and approval. If adopted, this resolution will directly address the immediate repair of these hydrants and will not require the village to move forward with incurring debt to the taxpayer to accomplish this mission. Issue number 2 is tax relief related to the clerical error in the village's assessments and tax rate. During the budget and tax rate process, a clerical error occurred. in the way exemptions were applied to the assessed values. Specifically, certain exceptions that should have been deducted from the assessed value were not properly applied, which overstated the overall taxable assessed value of the village. As a result, the originally advertised village tax rate differed from the final actual rate by 11.49364%. Because the total assessment was overstated, the resulting village tax rate and tax amounts calculated from that rate were higher than was advertised in the adoption of the FY27 budget back in April. Once this error was identified, the village reviewed the assessment and exemption calculations, corrected the assessed values, and confirmed the proper tax rate that should have been used, which is the one that everybody paid today. We then determined the financial impact of the difference between the originally advertised village tax rate and the final corrected tax rate, as applied to the taxpayers' village levies on the properly adjusted assessments. Based on that review, the village is now proposing formal reimbursement to taxpayers for that difference. The resolution before the board authorizes funds to village taxpayers for the amount attributable solely to the difference between the originally advertised village tax rate and the final corrected tax rate that results from the exemption error. These refunds will not include late fees, penalties, interest, or any other additional charges that may have been included or incurred by taxpayers. Only the portion attributed to the clerical error would be refunded. The total taxpayer refund amount is $532,523.25. The resolution also authorizes the use of available undesignated funds to finance those refunds and amends the 27 village budget to create a specific appropriation for this purpose. That means the village will eliminate the impact on the village residents of the clerical error by using existing undesignated fund balance, not by imposing a new tax levy or added charges. Upon adoption of this resolution, the village will follow their schedule for issuing these refunds. Taxpayers who have paid their village taxes in full by July 31st will begin receiving refund checks at the beginning of August. Taxpayers who make their payment after July 1st, but on or before, or July 31st, I'm sorry, but on or before October 31st will begin receiving refund checks at the beginning of November. This schedule allows us to verify payments within the normal tax collection cycle, apply the difference between the originally advertised and corrected rate to each taxpayer's levy, and issue checks in an orderly and accountable manner. This means the village is correcting the impact of the clerical error by using available fund balance, not by imposing any new levy or additional charge. This is the responsible and transparent way to address this matter, and is consistent with the village's budget structure and accounting treatment for appropriated fund balance. Upon adoption of this resolution, my office will finalize the reimbursement calculations using the corrected assessment values and the difference between the originally advertised village tax rate and the final corrected rate. Apply that difference to each taxpayer's village levy and issue refund checks according to the schedule I described. The purpose of this action is straightforward: to return to the taxpayers the amount attributable to clerical error, no more, no less. Taken together, these three actions, the establishment of separate fund accounts, hydrant repairs without incurring debt, a reimbursement program funded from undesignated funds, are intended to reinforce the same principles: transparency, accuracy, and accountability. When errors are identified and when improvements in our financial structure are possible, the village has an obligation to act, to explain those actions clearly, and to ensure that residents can see both the impact and the remedy. These measures are being presented tonight in that spirit. Any questions?
Now, in case of this, I was blown away. I was surprised about this. I didn't understand it until Brian just explained it in that way. This was a clerical error made by a contract accountant. We're all responsible for that because we all approved it. We approved it on a false belief of, we're only going up 5.2%, when we really went up 17.9%. So, okay, so Darlene didn't vote for it. So, we all looked at it, several eyes looked at it, so we're all responsible for it. In this case, Brian has found a way to give the residents, not the taxpayer, a refund. Nobody will get the same refund, it's according to your taxes. But this will make wrong right. Even though we all approved it, I, as the mayor here, felt very responsible for it. Very, very responsible for this. And I feel this is a good outcome here. And we spent a lot of time going over this. Any further?
Who's we?
Yeah, it's great that you had these conversations with the mayor,
Nobody
many
else
meetings,
knows
but
anything
we
about it.
just received this and have had no time to review any of it.
Well,
Is there a
because it's my,
reason?
because it's my budget, and I am
I'm sorry,
responsible,
that's Brian.
it's my budget, and I'm responsible for it, and you're finding out tonight, where we do public, we do business in front of the public, not behind the doors.
Lou, can I
This
ask,
is right here for you to decide or not. Do you want to give the
can I
public
ask
a
who
refund?
drafted, did
The
our,
taxpayer a refund on this, or not? It's very simple, you vote for it or don't vote against it. It's up to you. It's
did
completely
our
up to you.
village attorney's office draft these resolutions?
No,
I didn't-
Has this been okayed by the comptroller?
this is, I can actually give this to Mr. Serrato. Here is all the work that I did, along with all the references to guidance that support all the things that I talked about.
Although I am in favor and was ready to discuss additional methods to make sure that we are correcting the budget in any way that we possibly can for the next fiscal year in accordance with the guidance and suggestions of the Office of the State Comptroller and in line with general municipal law. This is the first time we're seeing this. It has not been drafted or looked over by our attorney. So I think that we should put it on the next meeting agenda.
So-
Yes, it's very important. Yes, everybody
if I may
has the
interject.
same goal, but I don't know that this is exactly how we're going to get there. I want to make sure that the comptroller's okayed it.
And I understand. If I may interject, we have until the 31st of July to do this. That is part of the timeline of this. That should give the village attorney plenty of time to review this and make sure that we are not violating any laws or anything.
But we haven't looked at the budget. Our budget meeting is next week, and I don't want to put you in a position where you feel that you need to defend anything, because from what I've seen every single time that I've spoken to you, which has primarily only been here, you're doing a wonderful job. You know what you're doing, and I appreciate a lot of the things that you're pointing out and the controls that you're attempting to put in place in such a very quick time. So I don't want this to be in any way, putting you on the spot to defend yourself. I'm just saying, my opinion is, we pay Reno's firm to draft our resolutions. I've talked to the comptroller a number of times. I have a 50-pound satchel of all kinds of information from the comptroller and budgets and assessors in the county's office and all that to try to figure out how we got here. Is this a systemic issue? This has been something that's been requested to discuss multiple times by every single person on this board, and I think there's many ways to get there. And that's the goal of everybody. I don't know that doing it tonight in this way is something I'm comfortable with.
So can I so I haven't spoken to Brian at all before tonight, so I appreciate you giving me this. So what I would suggest, because I'm just seeing these resolutions for the first time this evening, I'll take a look at what Brian gave to me. Again, I just perused those resolutions. I'll take a look at it. I'll look at what he gave me. I'll speak to Brian. I'll walk through these resolutions with him just to make sure that, again, they're okay with, the controller's opinions. And again, I'm not doubting you, I'm assuming they're fine, you've been doing this for a while, it's not your first rodeo. And if it's okay from a legal standpoint, I'll give you the okay, and then you can address it at the next meeting.
That's what I was just gonna ask. I love the ideas, and if they fit you and the comptroller, can we in spirit say, if everything is okay with you?
Well, you haven't even looked at the budget, Stephen, so where is it coming from
Well,
the
I would
budget?
like
It's just
to-
coming from the unappropriated fund balance. What?
I would like to add further
And
that,
what does that mean for next year? We're all, in theory, gonna be here next year, right?
I would like to add further on this, that I am learning real quick. The budget is mine. The budget, it does not have workshops. It should not have workshops. It should be me meeting with each department head,
No, sir.
putting this together, and then presenting it to the board. I'm learning this. The last budget, the budget we had, I let everybody in to try to kumbaya, oh, too many cooks in the kitchen, a contractor, accountant out there, and look at where it got us. So because I have learned, grown, educated myself on this, there will be no workshop where my department heads will be going to next week, no lie.
We have,
The
we
budget
have
will
set
be-
a budget hearing for
I'm
next
sorry,
week. It's
thank
been
you.
approved
I
and voted
will-
on by this board, and we will be having that meeting.
I will be preparing the budget. It'll be mid. And then it will be prepared and given to the board to review when it comes time. What I did was I let everybody all over the place, they were grabbing Debbie, they were grabbing Jake, what do you think? You need this many shovels, do you need this? That's not the way to do it. And I apologize for that. I didn't know. But this is the way I'm doing things now. Just like the contracts for the police department and the Department of Public Works, that's my job to negotiate with them. Then present it to the board to go through there. I did. I let everybody's fingers on it.
If
I
I
have
may
another
interject-
question for you, but also I would like to say to every single department head and every single trustee and every single person that's sitting in this room staring at their shoes when they know that every single one of us has a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers of the village of Montgomery, you should be ashamed. Because you know that this is a cooperative process and more eyes lead to finding more things and more minds working together lead to a better result for a community like ours. So everyone that doesn't agree with that, you should be ashamed.
Well, in reference to your finding more instances, more things, we all looked at the budget and we didn't find anything.
So if I may interject about this year's budget, future budgets. This money is not coming out of this year's budget or future budgets. This money is undesignated, unappropriated money from years past.
Right, I understand.
This
Absolutely.
does not come from this year's
Where's
budget
that
at all.
information? We'd like you to share that with us at Tuesday's meeting.
I thought I did, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
thought I shared everything that I have with you. If
So
there's
we're
more
taking the
information,
fund balance.
No.
we are taking
We're
unused
not taking the
prior
fund
year
balance.
money that the village collected through tax revenue and other revenues that the village collects, and using that instead of letting it sit into an account and not be used for however long it's not been used.
We have had,
This is not this
the
year's
village
budget.
has had 16 accounts. Am I correct, Brian? 16 accounts?
It's got 16 current accounts, but most of those accounts are dormant accounts
Mhm.
that are not being
So
used.
correct me if I'm wrong, you found unused money, right? That's amazing.
That, yeah, that's not the money I'm talking about here in these 16 accounts, but yes, there's other unused money in the village.
Beside the fund balance, you found over $500,000 of money that's just sitting in there.
And so, no, I have found in our general fund account, approximately 800 to 850,000.
So where's the data to
unused money.
support that statement?
It's in the account. I did not
Where,
bring,
where's the report for us to look at of all the accounts, a summary of all the accounts?
it's not here. I did not bring that, I did not expect to have this level of resistance.
It's not resistance, it's surprise. It's
It should not
surprise.
be a surprise. The problem it is, the reason it is a surprise is because this village for years has continued to do things that are not necessarily transparent to anybody, including the board and the people who work.
Agreed.
I
Any
got
more
nothing but
questions for me,
applause, I'm
Ashok?
sorry, I'm loving the fact that you found that.
So the solution for being,
This is $800,000 that you located in dormant accounts that I've seen that you would use to pay to the taxpayer refunds and fix all the hydrants that are needed without touching the fund balance at all.
Without touching FY '27 money.
Without touching what?
FY '27 money will not be touched at all for this. The tax revenues that we've collected since June 1st the water, the sewer, all the bulk pickups and permit charges and all that we collected for FY '27 are not part of this reimbursement.
That is fantastic.
Is the fund balance part of this reimbursement?
The fund balance. The fund balance is the general fund. That is the fund balance. In the general fund, there is an excess of over 800,000 of unused money in there.
In addition to what's outlined on this approved budget.
Yes.
And at what point did you find this? And why has there been no
I found
report?
it 2 weeks ago, when I got access to the accounts.
I'm not
Yeah,
surprised,
take a look at
I'm
it.
just, I can't believe that this is the first time we're hearing it, and I'm just gonna keep my feelings in check because got a lot of thoughts I'll share later.
It was said at last meeting, by resident.
Point of order, may I?
Yeah,
No, it's up to me.
not everything's up to you,
It's up to me.
go for it.
It's up to me.
Simple question.
There's
It's a weird
one
way to say it.
chairman here.
That's kind of rude. That was kind of rude. No, what'd you say, nothing is up to me?
I said, not everything is up to you, and I said, go ahead, sir.
No.
We let everybody else speak out of turn, we're letting people do it right now, go for it.
No, Lena,
It's up to you. You have a period in this agenda that says public comment, so if you want to reserve it, make it known then, you can have the gentleman speak at that time. Or you can have him here. It's your call.
but then this could run into a lot of other people.
Correct. So what I would recommend is if you get a lot of business to go through tonight still, so you can reserve, with all due respect,
Reserve for later, please.
get later.
But we don't do that for other people,
But
as stated in writing, someone foil that.
that's up to
Who's
you.
doing the audit? We're discussing while you're standing here, let's do all the financial.
So here's another piece of the financial puzzle that needs to be figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and saw 3 quotes from 3 different accounting firms.
Mhm.
2 of them declined. RBT is the only one, and you know, because you saw it. The RBT is the only one that responded with a quote to do business. If anybody, I think the whole board has seen this, but if we want them to do an audit, generally that cost is somewhere around $25,000.
25,000.
We only have in the budget $9,000 to do auditing in the village. So, again, it's up to the board, but you have excess money that you can use to augment your auditing function.
What would we find out to the 20, what would it benefit us doing an audit? Now that you've found these, and we're moving forward in a positive direction, and hopefully giving the taxpayer a refund.
The purpose of an audit is just like anything else. They're gonna come in, they're gonna look at your processes, make sure that you are doing things as statutorily required, and then either find material weaknesses or find observations, and then present you with recommendations on how to fix those weaknesses or observations.
$25,000.
That is RBT's goal. And I
And we haven't had
recommend,
an external audit since 2021, and it's, how often and how frequently is it recommended by the Office of the State Comptroller?
the state comptroller does not give a specific time frame. What I would do is I would recommend an audit at least once every 3 years.
So we're well overdue.
I would say so. And I'm in full agreement that an audit of the village should happen.
So should we put it out for a formal RFP since we only got, I mean, this was just from sending out emails to people that,
Well, I don't think you're gonna get much of a difference from that 25,000. RBT might be a little more of the luxury model of accounting firms, but I don't think you're gonna go much lower than 25. It's a
I
lot.
loved your last comment, you just said you agree that it should be done, because this helps protect you as well, correct?
It helps protect me the most, because I just got here and I don't want to continue
And I
to do
think that's,
things that are
I
not.
love what he's done, but he seems to be doing the right thing, and I think we need to follow through and protect, because this could be more deep than, well, it's more deep than you initially thought, right? And so cleaning this up has been we haven't done one in how long?
4 years, 5 years.
5 years, and so we're 2 years overdue.
But yes,
I think it's money well spent to protect and to make sure we got everything that we need to
you
get.
have enough money in the undesignated account. That is one of the accounts that I recommend that we open separately, so we have an exact number all the time. You have enough money to expend that and put that into FY '27.
I don't like spending money, I don't like spending money on it. $25,000. this is like saying, don't.
I get it, Steve, I really do, but he's in here now, he's making these changes.
But he just.
And he's telling you he wants it.
He's saying he needs it.
I mean, yeah, every 3 years, you want one right now.
I want one right now. If I could have one tomorrow, I'd have it
Would
tomorrow.
it, that would be 25,000? That's
Yes.
what you recommended?
That is what it was quoted back to us.
So you're suggesting we do that?
100% I suggested those do that.
Then you're the manager. And that's what you suggest?
It has to be approved by the board.
Okay.
I have one more question. So you are choosing not to attend the budget meeting on Tuesday?
I am not choosing not to attend. My boss told me not to attend.
Okay. And so if we are requesting the reports and the summary of all of the accounts and where this money was found, is that something that we're going to have to compel by a majority board vote, or can we ask and you'll be able to give that to us to review at our budget meeting?
It's just a review.
I think they should be able to see what money came from.
Right.
I think this will be a different discussion if we see
If you want to
different
see
meeting.
where that is, how I came up with this,
I love it.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more than, I'm not holding anything
that's
back,
kind
I'm
of
not
the point
hiding
of
it.
transparency.
So,
We
if
got
you
it,
want to
here
see
it is, here's
it,
what we
I'll show it to you.
So can we have that by end of day
We said
tomorrow?
budget meeting, we weren't saying talking about the new budget, it was understanding the budget, reports that you're looking at, this type of thing. All of that would have been a great conversation to have on Tuesday.
Yeah, we've all been talking about the need for finding this out for a long time, so this is great.
But now you're saying that your boss, the mayor, is not letting you come.
Why don't we give you the reports?
Just so everybody's aware, I was in the military. I worked for the military for many years. I know that when my boss tells me not to do something, I don't do it. That is my mindset. That may not be how everybody works, but my commander or my boss right now is Mayor Hamburg. If he tells me not to go,
And I've been in
I'm
a
not going.
paramilitary organization for many years, and when my manager tells me something that I'm not aware of, and he's smarter than me on a subject, I listen to him. And with that, and what I've been learning from going to several places, I'm responsible for the budget. And I'm not gonna have another bull cooks in the kitchen, because I just saw what had happened. So when it comes time for budget time, I will meet with my department heads, and I will come up with a budget for everybody to review, long before it's time to approve it. But as far as having open meetings and workshops and all this, and you need 6 shovels and you need this, not happening, not happening. So, to sum it all up, you found money, or you've located money that we weren't aware of. You have enough money in there to give the taxpayer a rebate to make right from wrong and fix the fire hydrants without us having to take a bomb, the ban, whatever is out there. And the taxpayer will not suffer.
Taxpayer won't suffer any more than they already have.
I'm sorry,
They won't suffer any more than they already have. They've already paid this money, so
Okay.
it's no more than they already have. This is, like I said, from previous fiscal years. I don't know how long that goes back, to be honest with you. It is very rough accounting to try to figure out where this happened. But I can assure you that there is plenty of money in those accounts.
I would like to see that, then.
I kind of figured that when we first came up with the
Oh,
our
it's like
budget was
it was
11
years.
pages and other ones were 112.
and how would the refunds happen? One shot, 2 shots?
So according to the schedule, everybody who paid their tax bill by 31
What if it's an
July,
escrow?
Yeah, that's the question.
What did you say, Brian?
everybody who paid their tax bill, whether you paid it on your own because you had no mortgage, or you paid it in escrow, or you had any other situation where your taxes got paid by some third party, your calculation of refund will be calculated by the treasurer's office, and you will get a check in the mail starting the first week of August. If you do not pay your tax bill by the 31st of July, we inherently cannot give you a refund on something you haven't paid yet. But if you pay before the 31st of October, the second iteration of refunds goes out to those people.
So I would like to make a motion that we approve this tonight based on, you're approving to the board showing this money's here, but I would like to get this refund out there. And not table this, because you can't table, I'm also learning this too, you cannot vote to table something. You vote it down, or you vote for it, or you bring it up at the next meeting. There's none of this table.
Or you don't second the motion.
So my motion would be to go for this, send the taxpayer their rebate. We start, we get the auditor that you requested, and go from there.
I wanna see where the money I wanna see where this money is. I wanna know where it is, what account it's coming out of, where you found it.
Now that this is going forward, Brian, would you even want to do this if you hadn't looked it over yet?
Would I wanna do this?
If Lino hadn't looked it over yet? Or would you feel better having him review this?
If you're asking my opinion,
I am.
my opinion would be, if I was one of you board members, and I was in favor of this action, I would vote yes, pending legal review. If the legal comes back and everything is good, you're voting for the perception or the intent of what this resolution represents. If Mr. Scarretta has to make changes, small minor changes to this, then they have to be made. But you're voting for the spirit of what this is, and not necessarily, you can hold it for the legal review to happen and be done before the 31st of July.
So you got a couple things going on here. So you got you've got a couple motions. The first one is the audit. So he's requesting, I guess, RBT is what you're looking to authorize.
Or would you rather us look for another company?
No, I'm fine with RBT.
So-
They seem to have a good reputation.
So if you want to take your, and then we'll talk about the other
Should
two.
we just do one at a time?
Do one at a time, instead of mixing up.
I'll make the motion.
To authorize retention of RBT not to exceed $25,000, is that fair? Is that the quote they gave?
That's the quote they gave us.
All right, I'll make the motion to use RBT,
Yeah,
Robert Boyton.
yeah.
All right, I make the motion, to RBT,
Do you want to do a not to exceed, so you're capping at 25,000?
We also need them to do other things. We don't have an accounting firm right now in the village.
Right, but you're asking them to do the audit, so
Let's do.
It's two separate items.
Yeah.
on the
the two
whole
separate things you're
business.
asking for. So the first thing is the audit, if that's capped at 25, you want to cap it at 25, so that way you know what you spend. So a motion to authorize the board to retain the services of RBT not to exceed 25,000, subject to review of any agreement by council. So that's the motion.
all right. Cynthia?
Are we seconding it for discussion?
So whatever you want to do. Someone who made the
I
motion?
second.
You second the motion? Who made it? Mike, the mayor made it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you seconded, so now, who wants that discussion?
Right, do we have a copy of the quote? Was that given to us? Can you use
I
the
believe
microphone,
you have all
please?
have it in
I
your
am using
email.
the microphone.
You came in.
You should have it in your email. If not, I will go back to Ms. Piccarello's email that they sent a quote back.
So it was approximately 25?
It said 25,000. It didn't even say like approximate, it said 25,000. So,
Just to be clear, you know, we're going against each other and talk.
yeah.
Right, audit only, that's the first step. So we got a motion, second, there's a discussion. Want to do roll call?
Randy?
Aye.
Darlene?
Aye.
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 Cynthia?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, let's say,
Motion approved for the order.
Spirit.
Next up?
so let's get to the other, so there are
Did you
three,
approve your can? Oh, this?
well, there were three resolutions that were handled, it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it looks like.
I'm not doing resolutions until I see where that money is.
Well, let's see.
I don't care.
Okay, you.
So there's the one with the 125,000 for the water fund. Is there any problem with this one?
And it's for fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Is this in the same situation that we had in the past, where every bit that's not used is immediately refunded?
Same issue?
Because it's gonna get moved to the water fund account, we cannot necessarily just move it out of there. We have to wait until we see if the water fund has generated a pure profit in the water fund in order to move it back to the general fund.
I would much rather this say the cost of the repairs. So far, everything has been different than what we were originally quoting, correct?
What's that?
All the repairs you had to do on the other hydrants so far has been different than what we were doing. Estimate.
No, I already have the hydrants, I have all the parts to do it.
And that price is?
Uh,
125?
Well, no, 125 is for everything.
That's putting it all in the ground. And that's an estimate.
Yeah, we have everything to do the work, I just, if this
So,
goes
I
through
guess my
tonight,
point
then I
was,
can call tomorrow.
It's very hard to say
Schedule
yes
work.
when we don't have the math.
You don't really money.
so my point would be is we've already bought the parts. Has that come out of the water budget already?
Isn't that the policy?
Where did you get
Yes.
the money from to pay for it?
I thought it was gonna come out of the band,
So this is in lieu of doing the ban, we can still do the ban. The ban
No,
is
no,
still in
no,
progress,
I'm
we're
not-
not slowing
I'm not
anything
questioning
down.
any of it. My point was, we had a water fund which we tacked on $40 for this purpose.
Right.
So we don't need to take another 125,000, we've already identified that and voted on it, that would go in. So this 125 should say the balance of what the difference is between what we've already bought or got in with the $40 and then what's left. I don't want to give 125 that can't be put back if we're not going to use it.
Okay,
Make sense?
makes sense.
I want this completely paid for, yes, but we already got money that we paid for the parts for. So all there should be left is installation, the difference. Well, out of this. Which doesn't
No.
have to be.
We haven't
the
voted.
parts are gonna have to come out of that.
Okay,
Out of the hundred,
that's what I was
the
trying
money
to.
that he found, the parts will come out of,
Instead of the,
instead of the band.
no, instead of the
Because we're not gonna
$40
we're not gonna
flat fee that we put on the water.
If you decide not to do the band, then we're not gonna do the
We're
band.
not talking about the ban, I'm talking about the flat fee we added to sewer and water.
Haven't got that money yet.
Yeah.
We've got it now, right? We just
We're
haven't.
just starting to get it.
It's just starting to get it in.
Right.
But that's
Not
not,
40 bucks.
no, that's not where the money's coming from. The money's coming from what, money he found.
Do we have to undo it, you know, because we already voted to use that money towards the purchase of this?
You already authorized that ship has sailed. If you're gonna rescind that, you have a motion to do that.
That's what I'm trying to say, is we already authorized this.
I feel like we can do all of this on Tuesday after we have some numbers to look at, and it's no harm, no foul to anyone. The goal is to make it right. That's been the goal since March 14th. We've all been spending time working on that, frivolously it seems, but it's very difficult to feel like that we're making a supported and educated decision with taxpayer dollars when there's not black and white numbers and accounts in front of us. And we did just approve at the very last meeting, this entire board unanimously on the policy for board communication and when we would have all the documents for the meetings. And that was a full week before the meeting so that we could review it, have time to ask questions, and we wouldn't have to do this in front of everybody because then we get stuck in the nitty gritty of who wants it, who doesn't want it. We all want to do the right thing and we all want to do it for as cheap as possible. But without the numbers,
Feel tonight's the right thing. Refund to the taxpayer.
I think we
Based
can have
on-
all of this done on Tuesday
Based on what,
with information.
based on what the attorney says in the review given. So we vote now, like you said, and then it goes from there.
Comes from for the fourth time.
I said my piece, if the board doesn't want to do it yet, then I understand. I understand completely. We saw this literally 5 minutes before you said it. And there was no need to, just, you had it 2 weeks ago, we could have seen it 2 weeks ago. We have plenty of time to research this and know what we were voting on.
Well, it's up to the board, vote to give the refund to the taxpayer.
It's not about that.
Or not. Well, yes, it is about that. It is about that, because I sat with him, and we looked at this. We don't need to, the communication is right here in front of the public. We do business in front of the public, not behind closed doors, not a half hour before the meeting. I'm doing things in front of the public. The public, the employees here work all week long. They report to me, and we go from there. We meet twice a week, so that information gets brought in front of the public. That's all. Everybody's watching it on TV, everybody's here. You either vote to give a refund, and it starts out, or you don't. We're not gonna table anything, because you can't table anything, which I learned. So you vote no, and then you do it another day. All I wanna do is get the process
Or you
going.
Joey
to
second the
give them their
motion.
refund.
Just to clarify that point, you're not tabling, this wasn't on the agenda, okay, this was added tonight, so normally what would happen is that, when resolutions are prepared, we get all packets, all the resolutions are put forth, I work with Debbie in terms of getting the resolutions out, the agenda packet together, and they're all put together, you guys get them, what day, does that go out, Debbie?
Usually the Thursday or Friday before.
Friday before, right, so
To
that,
the board.
to the board, right, you
Because
guys
of the
all.
holiday and I was out Wednesday.
Oh, I
sent it out.
understand.
No, just, right, I'm saying, so there's nothing to table in the sense that usually you table things on an agenda, okay, you have the authority to do that. This was presented tonight, you have a resolution here that, again, to me, I'm reading it, looks okay, but I look at the law that Brian sent me, but you're asking the board to authorize a refund, right? Over $500,000, so you all have a fiduciary responsibility to ask the right questions as to where those accounts are coming from. You have the right to ask questions with Brian where that's coming from. So my point is, again, when I get the agenda packet, I go with Debbie, we can go through the resolutions. We have grants on tonight, we prepare those, so I didn't see these resolutions either, so.
I 100% agree with you.
So my point is simply, you guys can do what you want with these. All I'm saying is, you have a resolution in front of you, you have 3 of them, right? So it's up to the board what they want to do, in terms of whether they want to make the motion, whether we don't, whether you want to hear this Tuesday. He is right about the time frame, July 31st, so whatever you have to do, you got to do it this month. You can have a special meeting, and I know you meet twice a month, but you can always schedule a special meeting if you want to get this done, based on Brian's suggestion.
I completely understand, I believe that too, because there have been resolutions that have dropped on the table right in front of you, and you don't notice. Now, here's the something new with the budget, where I'm responsible for the budget. And you know that.
Yeah, you're responsible, you all have a fiduciary responsibility. Yes, you're the guy who spearheads the budget, no question about it. But all of you, including you, all of your trustees have a fiduciary responsibility with respect to that.
Correct, and I think it went above and beyond. The last budget let everybody go back, let them go to each individual department head and talk with them. That's not the way it should have been done. I was trying to make it work nice, and it didn't work so well. So now I learned that I do the budget and present it to the board. That's how it is in front of the public. So tonight it's up to me. I let everybody talk. Tonight it's either, you look at it based on his information that he gave there, you looking at it, like you said, we can vote on it, and then once everybody's in agreement with it, it's already voted. It's already voted, we can go on with it.
I have a question, Lena.
So that's it.
That,
Like you said,
all the
Brian.
emails that I've sent to the treasurer, and all the emails that I sent to the mayor, and the clerk, what if we're on July 31st to some
Where's the talking stick?
Where's this flip? Can I just say, people are saying on Tuesday cannot hear one person at a time.
So again, that's it. We can vote for it, we can vote against it. That's up to the board. I'm happy about this. I was very pleased when I sat down when Brian contacted me on it, and we sat and I didn't believe it at first. And then when I just saw this, it's just there was money there that we weren't aware of. It's just
imagine, almost as if you hadn't paid attention for 20 years of doing the budget prior.
Oh,
You
stop.
created a problem, you helped create a problem, and now you want to do a dog and pony show out here about it.
Thank you. You were on the board for 3 years when.
And I've been asking these questions every meeting for 3 years. Say I haven't.
I did not do the
Can we
budget.
call a vote?
I did not do the
Go
budget.
for it.
I did not do the budget, nor did the deputy mayor do the budget. The last mayor did the whole budget himself.
Oh, I talk.
The last mayor did the budget himself and presented it to the board, just like I'm doing.
And that's how you want to solve the problem. You're saying that was the problem, and you had no knowledge of anything, so you're going to solve that problem by doing the same exact thing. That's what you're
It's not
saying.
the same thing. I've got a treasurer here, I went and searched, I'm here a little over 2 years. I'm trying my best. So this is it. Let's vote on it. The taxpayer gets a refund, or
It has
one
nothing to
moment.
do with whether or not we want the taxpayer to get a refund. Of course we do.
Okay.
I'm a taxpayer, I'd like to have a
We
refund.
wanted to do it on May 14th.
I would like to know where his money is coming from, period, for the 5th time.
Well, you ask them. You have the permission to go in there and talk to them. Ask them
I just, so I have your permission, why, thank you.
What else do you want me to say? I found this, I
That we
thought
should have
everybody.
known this before tonight. because you knew it. You had the information, you should have shared it.
Thank you,
No, I
Darlene.
didn't. I
You're
didn't.
welcome.
I did not share it. I wanted to make sure it was,
Yeah,
again, I
we
do
know why
I
you
do
didn't
business
share
in front of the public. That's it. Not behind the scene.
You did it behind the scenes, yes, you did.
Okay. Well, there we go. So
There we
let's
go.
make a motion to approve this tonight for the taxpayer to get a
I'm gonna
refund.
vote it tonight, I know where the money is.
So wait, who just, who here, why just
Treasurer,
go
answer
through?
where the
Yeah,
money's
we
from.
So you have a motion, what's your motion?
Motion is to approve this information that Brian gave us to,
There's three, which one?
well, the 50,000, or the 25,000 was.
Yeah, you want to- so we
I
did the
understand.
Mine.
25,000 was for the order.
That was
We
already-
did the
Did that, that's done, so now,
That's done.
you're talking about the refund, that was what you're alluding to, so that's the motion.
Okay. The next one is the refund for the taxpayer for monies that our treasurer, our very competent treasurer, who used to do $360 million budgets on West Point, has come here and located. And thank God we got him. Straightened our problem.
Report that said where we got it.
So to give the taxpayer a refund on the monies that you've located,
Same thing.
you found, that's the motion, the next motion. So we make a motion on
You
that?
made the motion, so now if there's a second or not. So there's no second, motion fails.
Okay, so just for the record, I'm for doing it. And what's the next one?
The other one was the 125.
Now, the last resolution is actually the first resolution that I talked about, which was the separation of accounts in the village to become more transparent and not have every dollar in the village parked in one account.
I think it's
Where the
about
money is.
The 125, this resolution. I know, but I'm saying, you also have this as well.
Oh, the accountant wasn't one of these three.
No.
So there's still two.
Yeah, the accounting firm was in more motion. You got it.
Pending legal review.
No, I'm saying, you passed already the accounting for the audit RBT, that's been approved, that was our motion, that you will be able to approve unanimously. With respect to the refund, that, there was no motion, so that failed. Now you have another motion that Brian drafted with respect to Village Law 5-506 regarding the use of the $125,000 for available funds to repair, replacement, and maintenance of fire hydrants. That's another motion.
All right, make a motion on that?
Is there a second? No.
Okay, so the 125,000 from the money that you've located has not been approved. So we sum it all up.
And wait, there's
Wait,
one more motion.
another motion.
The other motion is designated Orange Bank and Trust as a depository and authorizing the establishment of separate village fund accounts. That was the other.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution pending legal review by your firm.
That's fine.
And I'll second it.
Can there be a question from the audience on that?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
No. But go ahead, let's wait. So there's a motion, roll call.
Legal, again,
Second.
this place that goes all over.
This is on the creating, as Brian suggested, creating different accounts. Right, so there's a motion, second, now you
Thank you
roll
for
call.
that, because a lot of us have been asking and crossing our eyes backwards and forwards about it for years.
Are we done discussing? Aye.
See,
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Pending review.
Yeah, pending review, I guess.
Can we please add the hydrant resolution and the refund resolution to be considered at the meeting on Tuesday, pending legal review and the report from the treasurer's office?
That's your motion, so you can send it.
Selena?
Yes.
Second. Wait, before we do that, we need to close that.
We need what?
So, are we gonna have that meeting?
I'm not gonna be here.
We have to post it.
Yeah, it's
I'm ordered my department head's not gonna be here, and if we're gonna have a meeting, it's gonna be just about this. Nothing more.
That's not what we already voted with the
Nothing
majority
more
of the
than
board.
this.
We already voted to have that.
Right.
I voted
That's
not, I
finance.
voted
That's
not to
part
be
of
here.
finance.
I will not be here on that, so.
You have a deputy mayor.
You voted on that, didn't you?
Well, in order not to be here, since I've been educated about how to run a budget. So, we're not gonna have everybody go to the kitchen and do this.
Can we require by
This doesn't
all the
have to do
board
with
to
the
get all
budget.
the financial reports?
Yes, you can.
We're gonna discuss this.
And this will be into, I will not be here, so I
Then you
suggest.
should have approved it when we brought that date up.
You guys made this motion already to have this meeting on the 14th, it was already voted upon. So the question is, there's some information you want from Brian, so Brian is happy to provide it. So what I would suggest you do is authorize tonight, just have those items presented on Brian, and not the meeting, because he was told not to go. But if you have information,
I move to
Present
another
board.
date. I make a motion to move it another date. The dates I put in for on, when I would be away, everybody voted against it, so I have to miss a meeting. I majority rules.
Mike, if you want those discussed before the 31st, the 14th is a
I,
good day to do it.
I'm completely aware of this, I was part of this. So we can do,
We know.
what? Well, I thought everybody would be happy about this, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay, so I made a motion to add the two resolutions that failed, the hydrant and the refund, to the agenda for the meeting on Tuesday.
I'll second it.
I can say, I'll say
Subject to
again,
attorney review.
with discussion, my
Subject
department
to
heads
attorney
will not be
review.
here on this.
You made yourself clear.
I know.
There's a motion and a second.
We vote.
It's at 10 a.m., correct?
need a roll call.
Do I have to be here on this?
No, it's up to you.
I would like
There's a
to-
motion and second, so let's do a roll call.
All right, so, Darlene,
You're gonna start with me?
does it make a difference?
Yes, you go in the same order so everybody knows what to expect and the clerk can
Yes.
take notes. Aye.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Steve?
I make I make a motion to compel the treasurer and the department heads from every department that's outlined in the board communication policy we just approved at the last meeting that was shared with everybody the day after, to have a financial report prepared and sent to the board before end of day on Friday for review.
That's a motion.
That's a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
To have department heads report every month?
No, just for me.
Just for me, just give us a written report. If they're not gonna come, you're just gonna show us some of the financials.
Can you go through that by Friday? Can you do it by Friday?
Yeah.
Or they
How do you
can
feel?
come.
All you need is our lines.
Right.
Is that within my, I could, to have the department heads?
In my opinion, Mayor, it is funny that the board would ask people who are not in the finance department to do that stuff. That is kind of odd to me.
Well, we sent
Whatever
something out.
reports that the board needs financially, you can request through the treasurer's office, and we're more than happy to give it to you. Asking department heads for financial reports is like asking the treasurer to fix the fire hydrant, that's all.
And that's the way it happens.
Well, they oversee their budgets in their departments as part of the budget process. So we'd like their input on their concerns, their goals. There was a letter, or there was a worksheet put out prior to the budget workshop that we had last year that we can send out tonight or tomorrow morning that didn't require you to whip out your calculators. It was just more about goals and working together to make sure that we're getting to them.
So could we go back, because there was a motion,
Yep,
so we
and
know
a
what's going
second.
on. So you requested information from Brian, department heads for next Tuesday's meeting. Department heads show up, not show up, but you want information with respect to their lines, so
And it
that's
comes
what
from
you
the
asked.
treasurer.
Wherever it comes from, that's what you asked for, you're entitled to. So there was a motion that was made to have that information presented by Friday,
End of day Friday.
close the business on Friday. So that was the motion.
All right.
Second. Anyone second that motion?
I did.
Okay, so now roll call.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
No. Darlene?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Anything else for us, Brian?
No, I'm gonna go read in the corner.
I thank you for all your work. I saw everything you had to do. You had up to wine stuff from years and years before I was in the board. And I know you still got more going on, and I very much appreciate it.
Excellent job, Brian.
Great job, Brian. Good job. Good job.
Top that.
All right, I found 3 million. So for the first time in a long time, I get to say what Jake always says, I have less than somebody, so. It's the beginning of fiscal year, so we have, so far this month, we got 181 reports. We completed our department range, so everyone's certified, no issues with that. We had the food truck festival, no issues there. Their kickball game, 5th graders tried their best. There was only 6 of us, but we still beat them. We have some more trainings coming up. We got more range stuff going on. Currently, we have going on our EMS training, all AED, CPR, all that stuff. Stop the bleed. Our new vehicles arrived. It's on the road. We are finalizing the plans tomorrow with me and Jake and Motorola for the installation of the LPRs. So they should be within the month. They should be all set up, ready to go. We're getting a bunch of our officers bulletproof vests replaced that have been expired. Our new AEDs arrived. We're working with Hannah Primus on multiple grants at this point. We actually just sat down before. She'll sure going to cover that in more detail. Again, waiting to release some more grants. And the only other thing to note is if we don't end up getting the federal grant for the 2 vehicles, we will have to look at getting another vehicle this year, which would be similar like to last year where we don't pay for it until the following fiscal year, but just want to give you a heads up on that. That's it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
That's
what-
Sorry.
As a department head, I just want to update everyone. If I need to post that meeting, it's not going to go on the board for Valentine's, it will have to go into the regular. That's for, sorry, usually I talk about it, I apologize. Just to make sure that everybody's clear for that public meeting, I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of texts right now from the phone. With regards to that meeting, I have to post it in another paper because the Walker Valentine's paper deadline was yesterday. So that'll be posted on the daily paper. I'll get back to Reno's office in the morning. And then what I'm understanding, it's gonna be more like a workshop across the, Mike, you're not attending, is that correct?
I will not be here.
So it'll be across the 4 trustees only at 10 a.m. Is that a correct statement?
Well, that's what
Why
you
does it
voted
matter?
on
It's
the
the
last
majority
meeting.
of the board.
I'm asking to get clarity. That's why I'm asking.
And why had we not posted it when we agreed on the date already?
I'm not gonna answer that question.
No
I think that's
answer.
an internal, exactly.
It's because
That's an internal discussion that was had, and that's a conversation.
It's not an internal discussion, to be
Randy,
fair.
I'm talking about my conversation was an internal discussion, and I'm
With your
being
boss.
fair. So I'm sharing with you that I will not discuss that right now, but I will make whole as needed, like I discussed with the public. I have nothing to hide from the public.
That wasn't the
Okay, here you
insinuation.
go. I'll give my update next time.
Okay. New business, consider, the trustee updates.
Where are the rest of the updates from the senior camp, building department, court?
We got the email from Joanne today with the senior center updates.
We did, okay.
Yeah.
I have not had time to check all that. So Joanne's from the senior center, so we're missing camp, building department.
Camp has never made
I know, but that's the policy we stated last meeting, and the email went out. Yep, and I sent out an email to Mike and the attorney and to make sure that they give a friendly reminder, because I know it's not gonna be, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be grab and go. Okay.
All right, next trustee update.
I have one right now. Change town. Bruce sent out the letters to Butler and gave them, by the 31st of July, that corner will be cleaned off and moved to their new place or somewhere else, but it won't be on that corner anymore, or they'll have to suffer the consequences.
Good job.
He sent a letter to both addresses, to the new address and to the Gun Drive, so. can we have a form, since there's been such a discussion over not having a form for an appeal for the building department, you have to go to the state. So we made a form. So now you can get a form and it will direct you how to file any kind of appeal that you want. So you can come to the office if you ever have another problem and you want to make an appeal. We created a form, Doug, that you can use, and we'll give it to you and they'll tell you how to go. Okay?
You have like one tonight?
Go ahead.
You can have this one. We can always print some more.
And appropriate to get it from
And if Darlene is done, I just want to say that both of those items are, it came up, I think Mark said it in the public meeting, why did this take so long? And Bob alluded to why did this take so long for the hydrants? And some of it really is having a consistent list and a commitment to old business. And it's something that everybody's been really holding us accountable to, and I appreciate that, but getting these things checked off hopefully will be faster and faster when we have a running tally going of old business and we exercise that muscle memory of checking things off the list at the last meeting and having action items, for ourselves. So thank you to Walt and Doug and Mr. Lavelle, who's not here, for making sure to keep on track, and Bob Reynolds as well, and keeping us honest about that, because I think both of these two things being checked off in a much faster time frame is because of old business. So thanks.
Next trustee update?
Trustee update was met with Bruce working on parking with the building department. So I counted every parking space, and he's going to get back out now that it's nice out. When we first started discussing this, the weather was bad, and he was unable to get out to give the measurements, and I've checked with Jake on this as well, about give the measurements of the lot so that we can make sure we're maximizing the parking spots that are in the municipal parking lots, making sure that as we're going through the New York Forward process and doing streetscapes and all of that stuff, do we need to change the orientation of the spots? Do we need to change the exit or entrance to maximize the spots? So we'll be working on that. We also have our first water meeting tomorrow night, so Walter, you'll be getting confirmation from me later on that. Jake's done a lot of work to get ready for that, to really combine the drinking water source protection program, the draft that we had from the very beginning about having the water committee, the water well reports, and he's done a lot of stuff to get ready for that meeting. So that's going to happen tomorrow night, and that they will be a stakeholder, as will the CAC, in the drinking water source protection program, which is awesome. I have actually not been in town a lot lately. I've had a lot of out-of-town family stuff to attend to, so I've not gotten to enjoy a lot of June's events, but I am following them online. I appreciate all the work that everybody's been doing, and one of the things that I didn't do in the village, but I'm super proud of, and I think relates to being an elected representative, was I got to go to the county legislative committee meetings and sessions to ask them to write a letter of support to the state for a Senate bill that will hopefully be passed in the next session for preventative testing and education for women's reproductive health. So not directly related to the village, but probably not something that I would have been knowledgeable enough to know how to compel letters of support and work to make sure I'm supporting that at the state and federal level. So that was my month.
So since our last meeting, I've been working with Anna on grants. I have one that we're proposing tonight. This week I'll be putting together the audio equipment that Randy was able to obtain from the county. So we'll have the new cabinet, the new more microphones. It's going to be fabulous. I did attend the town board meeting about the sewer treatment plant and the reports and the new information that we received from the third party about that. And I can tell you that we are missing out as a village. All of the grants right now are for intermunicipal agreements for discounts. $20 million our village residents could have saved on their taxes with getting a new or updated sewer plant. We know the reports are there. Please go out and read them. We will need to have it done sooner than later. So as you speak about it and say your report, please let us know what your plan is. Because we as residents, we know that it has to be replaced and it has to be fixed. So we're missing out. Thank you.
Well, if you read the reports that the second engineer said, that explains it right there, it was printed in the newspaper. Steve?
Again, Anna's been working overtime, and she's got to talk about these in a minute. We've been working on the Greenway Trail grant, and we're going to vote to whether we're going to submit that tonight. That's been a lot of the research. I'm working on the letters of support going up the chain. The trails get a little tricky when you get working on the people that you have to get approval for, and the railroad becomes involved in this one, so this is going to be a long haul fight, but hopefully we get through it.
Tom, do you have anything?
I agree.
Okay, first, I'd like to thank Dakota Hillman for donating numerous turn-of-the-century local newspapers she recovered from doing a local home renovation in the village. These will be on display at the Village Museum. They're from some of them from the Times Tower Record, the Newburgh Evening News. Really interesting, just to see what things cost. Next thing is solicitors. I'm hearing all about solicitors that come to my house. Solicitors have to apply to the village clerk for a soliciting permit. It seems like they're just dropping a group of people off, go hit the neighborhoods and see if you can make any money. What I sponsored when I was a trustee, and it's the law now, is if you're going to be a solicitor, you come to the village, you pay a fine, you pay a fee. Now, I don't care if the fee is 10 cents, but you pay a fee, we know who's out there, and you get a background check on you. That's what I'm going to know. I'm going to know who's wandering around these neighborhoods. So, you have to have a background check. So, if you're interested in the product or whatever, the guy's got to have a soliciting license. So, we made it known, people are out there telling us, and the police will take action. Next thing is senior citizen trip. I was here about 2 weeks ago. It was great. They went on a boat ride up by Kingston. I was with them when they were getting on the bus. I was quite annoyed, though, how they had to stand outside in the hot sun while the center was taking over for early voting. Our senior center was taking over for early voting while they stood out there in the hot sun. This is wrong. It's our center. The Board of Elections needs to find another place. This is a 10-day inconvenience for our seniors. It's not right. Go to some other place where there's an available room. The town's got a lot of available rooms. Share it with the other municipalities. Why is it always here? Why does the village always get it? Why do our seniors have to stand out there in the sun waiting for a bus? Well, I think they had a handful of people come in that day. It's our senior center. We've got to take action on that. I want to also remind, I have to say this numerous times, village residents are town residents too, not the other way around. Sometimes people forget that. You're a village resident, you vote for town people. Town people do not vote for village people. They do not vote. The Food Truck Festival was a huge success. I received nothing but positive feedback. It was huge. Thank you, Tracy and Lori, for doing that. To the police chief, Joe, when you get a chance, you get the radar sign fixed. A lot of people are asking about that.
We're working on it. We got the battery for it, and it's just.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I want to congratulate the town police chief, John Hank, for completing the FBI National Academy course. This is an extremely hard course. Believe me, I can tell you, I've been through many federal courses. They don't take it easy on you. So I congratulate him. And Joe, if you're interested, I would definitely consider the board's approval. And I'm sure he doesn't have a problem. This is it. Veterans Corners over here, which my wife and myself, my family takes care of, putting the flags in there. We went by and they were damaged. The flags were broken. Somebody went by and just busted them all over. Threw them all over the ground, just all over the place. We had been away for a day. Came back 2 days, we were gone. Come back, they were all over the place. So I went over there with my grandson and we put up the new flags. That was done. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't anything else. It was spite.
know, Jake, any chance you can repair the village clock? And I don't mean with all the, like, if you get a face of like one of those battery operated clocks on this side and this side, that look real, and we just change the battery once a year. Just something like that. I mean,
We could look into,
less than $100, just.
yeah, we could look into retrofitting something there.
He does miracles with the.
Oh, that will have front.
Just put it in there. It's something, you know, other places do work. Summer camp is completely full. Myself and the deputy mayor and the village clerk have our insurance carrier. And we are pleased to inform you, well, we figured out in the budget a 14% hike. We're only going up 2%. So that's a nice savings. I brag about our village employees, and here's an example. July 2nd, the temperature was almost 100 degrees. Village Hall air conditioning was doing the best it could. I told the employees around 2:30 go home. They refused, stating there were people paying their taxes and bills, and they couldn't leave. That's the kind of people we have here. How many people would do that if your boss told you to go home early? Not here. These folks stayed. I would like to mention the recent passing of David Gagnon. Nobody knows who he is. Well, he's the fire chief in Cotton Hill Fire Department in Ulster County. He got killed in the line of duty the other day. Volunteering, giving back to his community, not sitting in the audience and picking apart the community, volunteering for the community. Volunteering. There are so many people who are volunteering. And then there's so many people who just take. I was volunteering long before I was even considered anything with politics. Just because that's it. Because it's my community. We walk several times a day. I was telling the deputy mayor today, I picked up Arby's garbage in the street. I just pick it up to her in the nearest garbage can. How many people would do that? That's what we need to do as a community. Not just complain, enjoy where you live. I traveled to several different communities and watched what they do to attract visitors. Recently I was in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Barry Manilow concert. They made it Wilkes-Barre for that week. Just for funny things, just for nice things. Cold Springs. They have a volunteer information booth right out in the middle. People volunteer, they sit there, hey, this is where that's where this place is, that's where that is. It says information right on it. Right in the center of the village, Mando Regions. Conway, South Carolina. The water tower was all lit up. Welcome to Conway, South Carolina. We need to do these things. We need to do these things. And when I mentioned about how great our village employees are, excuse me for standing up. Municipal Workers Appreciation Day. Whereas this is the Village of Montgomery proclamation made by the mayor. I don't need to vote on this or anything. It's just me. It's something I can do as my power of the mayor. Whereas the Village of Montgomery is strengthened each day by the dedication, professionalism, and public service of its municipal employees, as well as the lasting contributions of retired municipal employees whose service helped shape this community. And whereas municipal workers provide essential services that support the health, safety, welfare, and quality of life of residents, businesses, and visitors throughout the Village of Montgomery. Whereas employees serving in public works, water and sewer operations, administration, public safety and parks and recreations, and other municipal departments work diligently throughout the year, often under challenging conditions, to ensure the effective delivery of village services. And whereas the Board of Trustees recognizes that both current and retired municipal employees are vital to maintaining the character, beauty, infrastructure, and spirit of the Village of Montgomery. And whereas since 1985, the first full week of May has been observed nationally as Public Service Recognition Week to honor the men and women who serve in federal, state, county, and local government. And whereas the Village of Montgomery, incorporated in 1810, proudly recognizes the long traditions of public service that has sustained and strengthened this community for more than 2 centuries, whereas it is fitting and proper to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of those who serve and those who have honorably served this community with pride, commitment, and integrity. Now, therefore, I, Michael R. Hembury, Mayor of the Village of Montgomery, New York, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, do proclaim the first Friday in May each year as Municipal Workers' Day in the Village of Montgomery, and I do encourage all residents to
and join in recognizing and thanking our dedicated municipal employees and retirees who have helped make this community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. And I've said it several times that these employees have done so, picking up garbage, from volunteering, the police department volunteers on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, guys who come in uniform, not getting paid. Several employees who are out there doing it. There are employees. And what I'm doing is I'm having this plaque put in every village office. The Municipal Workers Appreciation Day. It'll go in Village Hall. It'll go in the police department, public works, the senior center. And I believe everybody, I'll have 5 of these plaques made up and they'll hang in their office because we do appreciate our employees. So I give a round of applause for our employees, please. Thank you, that's my report.
Can I ask a question of the board? How much is the background check? Is there a standard state fee, or can we do our own?
How much?
Contract with some companies.
So what did it, $5.15?
We're talking about the peddler's permit?
No, how much is the background check?
Depends on what background check we're talking about.
The one the new employees have to get costs $50.
I think it's 90.
It's like
It
Either
would be
50 or 90.
It's 50.
How much is it for a peddler's permit?
That's $5, and I suggest that we
Yeah.
that significantly.
If we're gonna do a background check on everybody that's doing a peddler's permit, then we need to charge a fee that pays for the background check.
Well, they're paying a fee to, how much is the fee for peddler permit?
All the person has to do is pay $5 per day, which is per
I have no problem charging the fee.
So do we currently do a background check on everybody that has a peddler's permit?
Yeah.
So,
Do we do?
and we're currently only charging them $5.
Yeah, we do them. Do we do background checks on somebody gets a
When
peddler's
someone
permit?
gets a peddler's permit, the process is the paperwork goes with their license to the police department. They do the background check, and when they pass, each individual person who's soliciting has to pay $5 per day or $200 per year. Which I think that fee is too low.
Absolutely. All I want is whatever fee you
We're
want to
not
set.
paying, no, we're not, I'm making sure we're not sending
We're
it
not-
out and
yeah, we're
paying
not
$50
sending
it.
and
No,
then
no.
only charging $5, okay.
What's it cost you to run a background?
Well, that's up to him.
It's easy. It depends on the situation. Sometimes we get peddler's permits where there's 10 people that are peddling. I mean, it depends. Sometimes it takes a lot for us to do, sometimes it doesn't take much at all. I mean, it's done during our working hours.
Is there
Generally,
cost
it's just
to it for you?
nothing that we have to pay out. Nothing that we
Man.
already have. Yeah, it just takes us, or the clerks, or one of the sergeants doing a search in our system and database and making sure there's nothing in the background that.
That's my concern. The money is not the concern, it's the background.
Yeah, just to clarify.
And to know who's out there.
Yeah.
And to know who's out there.
Yeah,
So-
just to clarify, we're not like fingerprinting, photograph, like, we're not doing a full background check as if we're hiring them.
Right.
It's just a quick search to make sure that there's nothing in the background. Yes, correct. For illegal peddling.
Okay, well, maybe we should look at the fee and the policy when we do policy review annually then for next year.
Okay, moving on. Consider approval of the grant selected by the Board of Trustees. And Furman, who's,
And it was going to talk.
fine. We've done more in 1 week than our past grant. You heard it. You've done it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'll try to make it quick. I do want to give a brief update on a few grants that are for the village specifically. We did just finish the application and submit it for the Plays grant, which was, I worked with everybody here for the renovation of the playground. Potentially as a supplemental amount that would go towards renovating the playground, matched by the New York Forward Veterans Park Fund. And so hopefully we will get more money towards our Veterans Park. That one's been submitted. Tonight, there are 2 resolutions for the application of 2 different grants. One of them is a CFA planning grant, and that is to help pay for engineering and strategic planning for parking for downtown. We have a quote from Engineering Properties that we will submit with the application. Again, all of these applications, once they're submitted, it's just the amount that we're asking for, and when you do get approved, it depends on when, not if, you will then be allowed to bid those out if you wanted to go with a different company. And it would be pending your approval of accepting that money at the time that you are approved as well. And that's before contracts are signed. The other resolution is for the Greenway Grant, and the Greenway Grant is for trails. So it is for nature trails, and this would be to enhance the connectivity of trails within the village and the village alone. I'm also working on multiple grants with the PD. 3 federal grants, 1 for school safety. And this is just for your knowledge, this does not require a resolution for the application. 1 for school safety, 1 for salary compensation for the village, and a micro grant for some equipment. And we are working on a tech grant that is a state grant, and that will be for tech and equipment as well.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Tech and equipment, I'm sorry.
Any questions? Anybody can ask me any questions about grants, or anything that you want to know about village projects. I am at the town offices, so if you ever need to, just come by. I'm in the Parks Department.
You mentioned the fire department.
Fire department, working on everything.
Approve the planning grant resolution.
Everybody should have a copy of that, Debbie sent it out. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Montgomery hereby authorize the submission of an application to Empire State Develops Strategic Planning and Feasibility Studies Program for funding of a downtown traffic and parking plan study.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. No, Mayor second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one, is
Oh,
that,
I'm sorry,
the next one to approve the Greenway grant resolution, is the 2 separate?
Yeah, they're separate. So that's
That's to approve the Greenway grant resolution.
So this one is the Village of Montgomery is applying to the Hudson River Valley Greenway for a grant under the Greenway Conservancy Trail Grant Program for a project entitled the Village of Montgomery Trail Project, which is located in the Village of Montgomery, Orange County.
Make that motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, consider,
I'm sorry, for my, grant for the planning one, I do need board approval for a letter of intent, correct? Okay. So if this, grant goes through, then we can turn it into utilize everything, we would purchase property here in the village. So I need a letter from the village for if we do obtain the grant, and then more grants with that grant, that we would be able to purchase property for parking.
And only if we
Only
can entertain it only if we are awarded a grant.
Yes, yeah, that's what
Property
yeah,
only for parking?
Yes.
Exclusively for parking?
yes.
Okay.
and where, we have an area we're looking at?
There's a bunch of different areas that are.
And that's sufficient, Anna? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Stephen.
So the letter of intent will be required.
Where would the place?
The board approval will allow for the letter of intent to go to purchasing this property. But once you decide on a place or a property, you will need that property owner to provide a letter of intent for the grant as well.
Okay.
That they're willing to sell it and you're willing to buy it.
So this is
But it's
just,
sufficient to say, as long as we're afforded the
For
grant.
the grant
Okay.
purposes, yes,
Okay.
and it is no commitment to doing anything.
And
except
the
for-
land could not be used for anything else but parking.
You can do whatever, you can make up whatever letter of intent that you want. And
I'm
put
gonna
all
make
of
the
all of those in
wording-
there.
Yeah. Clean?
So the letter would be just for parking.
Just for parking,
Parking.
period.
And this can also be worked on and approved later. This does not need to be approved right now or signed right now.
So you don't need the letter of intent for the application for this one?
Not today.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
But
misunderstood.
I did want to, you can do it today.
Thank
And
you.
that would be for, I hate to look into this too much, but parking vehicles, passenger cars, not dump trucks or something else in there. That could be considered a vehicle.
That is completely up to you as to what you would like the letter of intent to say.
I would want it to be.
Municipal parking.
Yeah, we don't have to
Again,
make it
municipal
clear.
parking, okay? We're moving Butler from down there now. It might say two different times. We understand, but you know how things can all of a sudden split hairs.
well, that's what we know would write.
Yeah.
I would write the LOI.
He would like that.
Right. On behalf of the village, right.
Okay, as long as
I
it's
get it.
stipulated.
I get it.
I'll make that motion.
I also know that all of a sudden this is now considered a vehicle, but it's a tractor trailer or something like that.
I'll make a motion to have the village board have a letter of support drafted by the attorney to confirm what intent, yeah. What did I say?
Letter of support.
Okay. Letter of intent.
I'll second it.
To confirm it's only parking.
Yeah.
Right, provided that the grant is awarded, basically.
Yeah, just want only parking in it, that's all.
All right, Cynthia?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Consider the approval of, consider approval of the resolution for the court audit.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Oh,
for
sorry, it's a
discussion.
resolution?
Yeah. Don?
Cynthia did it last year because I was on vacation. She was supposed to go and shadow me, but I was on vacation because Jessica was sick. This year it was done when it was supposed to be done, and I happened to be in the office that morning, so I signed it.
So it's done already?
It's done,
So
yes.
why didn't we have somebody shadow so that none of us are
All-
gonna be here forever? You know what I
She
mean?
sent all the material.
Mhm.
You can go upstairs in the court and it's all laid out right on top of the desk. You can look at it whenever you want to.
Will you go up there with me and show me how you can read it?
Sure.
That's all.
You just
I'm
read
just
it.
saying, I don't care who it is, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
with a little context so that
Yes.
we can pass the information along.
Just get to read it now.
All right.
So,
Where are we now?
Just the top one, right?
just the top, and now therefore we resolve further resolution.
Yeah. Section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act requires that the village justices annually present the court records and dockets to the village board, its auditing body, for the examination. This resolution is to acknowledge the completion of the annual audit checklist for the village of Montgomery Justice Court records.
Fiscal years 2025, 2026, that's the motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, are we not roll calling anymore?
I'm waiting for a roll call.
I'm sorry,
It's a
Mr. Hunt.
resolution, we need a roll call.
Right, on the roll. Cynthia?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Me? Aye.
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Consider approval of the PD SRO agreement for 26-27. That's a school resource officer, the police department resource. Consider approval for it. Make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have to make the motion with the reversal, the change that the chief has outlined to all of us today. That's reflected in the board, or reflected in the resolution that we have. We sent it out.
Yep.
So we've all seen it here, but that's what we sent out.
Hit
So
the
it's
red line.
reversal of the red line.
Yeah, so as far as the contract goes, it's basically the same as last year with the exception of the amount with, salary increases. And there was one change that we had made that the school is not going to agree to. So if we don't change it back to what it was, they're just not going to give us money for it. So instead of having at the available officer's hourly rate, it is just the rate of $45.01 per hour for any extra events that they have. So if they have a dance and we have to put someone on it, that's the hourly rate they'll pay out.
And we offset that.
What was that?
And we offset that.
Yes.
That's what we discussed this morning.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
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 DPW union contract discussion. Frankie, you up?
Hello, I'm the shop steward for the Village Montgomery Highway Department. I'd just like to know where we stand on our contract and what's happening.
Could I say that after the first, when we had the meeting that Stephen and I attended, I gave you things that I thought should be changed a little. They were minor, but I never heard back after that a word. So I don't know whether they were changed.
Pager changed them as we were sitting there, and he sent you guys all the emails of the changes.
I never got an email.
Never got
about the
email.
changes.
He says he did, I looked at him, and he says he sent the emails.
I never got anything either, Frankie, you know where I stand on that. I negotiated it with you guys, I was happy with it, and then the board sent it to the attorney. I would have been happy selling it right here.
We don't have it.
Huh?
I don't have that.
Yeah, that's not true.
I don't have
Then
the
where did it go?
DPW.
Where was it?
No one sent it to me. So, if you have a union rep, they should send it to me, but we haven't received that contract.
Yeah, I would approve the one
Well,
that.
the last time
changes.
I sent out a text message to the board members, I received back that they sent all questions and comments to you.
Yeah, would be my part, but I'm telling you right now, we haven't seen anything on this DPW contract, so.
Who told you they sent it down there?
Yeah, so that's good.
One of the board members
Yeah.
said that? When was that?
So Frank, just to be clear, we have a timeline of things that happened that I'm aware of. So on March 24th is when you met with the mayor. And then on April 21st is when we approved the current budget. And then you met with me on April 27th, 6 days later. So the mayor knew a month in advance what your contract would look like before we decided on the current budget. And then a week after we approved the budget is when we met with you and your union reps. Probably, it was the same day, I think, Darlene, right? We all met differently, but on the same day?
I don't know.
On April 27th.
All right, I kind of think.
And then we received, and then we asked for an actuary because the numbers for everything. We received the actuary, and then now we have to have discussions. So for any updates or anything, you need to look at the mayor because he's not discussing any of it with us. Changes that we asked or things to do, or if it's being sent to the attorney, it's on the mayor. We're ready. We've got all the numbers. We'd like to have discussion. He needs to set up a meeting.
All right, let me clear this. Not true. All right, I met with you, and then I told you to go to each trustee, is that correct?
Which I did.
Okay,
So we did.
so what else do you expect?
It was a month later. You knew about the budget and what they were asking before we decided on our
They
budget.
were sent to speak with you. I didn't hold anything back. Again, this is
After we
me,
approved our budget.
this is me being too kind. I let them go to each one of you. I should have just did the whole budget and brought it in front of the board. That's what I learned. I went ahead and said to both of you, just like I did to the police department, go to each individual trustee. Is that correct?
Correct.
Ask them anything. Go ahead, whatever comes up, let it solve. I shouldn't have did that. I should have brought it here and opened it up in front of them. So where it went from there, what trustee Nopin says is totally false. It was up to you guys to bring it to them. There was no hiding, no nothing. If that isn't transparency, I don't know what is. Letting them go to each one.
Nino doesn't have it, only you have it. You would have had to send it up.
It is not me to do it. It's up to them to go
Right,
from
you
there.
gotta have
They
Pedro
union, not
re-email
me.
it and make sure that they get it.
Have them copy you in it
Yes.
so you can see, and he sent it.
Yeah.
And and you can ask for a receipt.
I was voted yes that day, and you knew you made those
Then you'll know who has
changes.
it.
I was the president of a union for years. My city manager did not take my contract and sent it away. It's up to me to do, up to me. So what you're saying is wrong.
It is not.
Absolutely
You met with
wrong.
him in March, you met with him and me in
Exactly,
March.
exactly. So what does that mean?
Why would you
And
give
then
that
I sent,
information to the
then I
board?
sent him to all
Why wouldn't you
his,
give the information to the board before we did the budget?
they
Why
were,
would you have us meet with the union to negotiate a contract after we already approved the budget? Makes no sense.
no, what doesn't make any sense is you're making things up. They were sent to
I'm
me,
not, Frank.
what
Am
I should have
making that
done,
up? You met
again,
with the
I
mayor on May
say,
24th.
what I
You're
should have
saying
done.
yes, you see this, right?
What I should have done was bring it, negotiate it, and bring it for all to see. But I, again, trying to be kind, trying to be transparent, let you guys go to each individual one, like I did with the budget, and straighten everything out. That was wrong on my part. Let me finish this, Stephen. I haven't even
Yeah, we're ready to discuss it, though.
So here's where we stand right now. And as far as me sending it out, no, that is not what the CEO does, or the manager, or the mayor. It's up to you guys on that. And I met with you and your local, and everything went good. And everybody in the local said, yeah, that's good. They even said, you're letting us go to each one, correct? I said, yeah, that's the nice way, so nothing is hidden. Is that correct? Okay, so where is any hiding? Nothing but transparency. There is nothing diabolical about this.
Nobody said we're hiding. I met with them and I suggested changes.
Did you hear what
They-
trustee Milton said?
Excuse me.
Okay, just saying.
I met with them and there were minor changes that I suggested. And you said you would correct them, but you never got back to me that you did. I would have voted that day if I knew they were corrected.
Absolutely.
They were so minor that it was,
So in effort to make me look bad, that is not the
That
case.
is
wasn't
That
trying to
is
make
not
her
true.
look
Trustee Milton.
No, and that's
Just
not
heard
true.
what she
We
said.
asked if anybody had received this contract prior to, and you said no. Everyone on this board said that they hadn't received it, they hadn't seen it, when in fact, you had gone to this.
This is the same situation we have with the police department. All right, thank you, Frank.
Yep.
Do you have the contacts for the lawyer's office?
Yeah.
Consider approval for training course for 2 office staff at $3,170 for registration, lodging, does not include tax, mileage, or meals reimbursement.
I'll make that motion.
So who are those 2 office staff?
No, right now it's the treasurer's office and some of the village clerk's. Has not been defined, we will talk amongst ourselves to make that final.
Okay, thank you. Make a motion on that?
I already did.
second. Oh, wait a minute, no, Pam, sorry. Right, same.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Does that include the fees for, Cynthia and myself for the
No.
training?
This one.
Oh, 2 separate,
This
I don't have that
is
one.
training for the, all right.
Okay, I just didn't, I wrote down the other stuff on it.
The motion, guys, all in favor?
Yeah.
I have to abstain.
Right, so it's.
I'll second. Was the second?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Didn't get?
Aye.
Aye.
Stephen, aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Colleen abstains. All right, consider approval for training course for 2 trustees. Registration only, total $1,150. Where is this training? Where is it?
It's the same
The
one.
same training, background training.
I don't know what the training is. I don't know
It's
what
for
it is.
treasurer's office.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it held? South Dakota.
This one,
No questions for the last one.
this one was around.
No questions on the last one.
So
We
I'm not
didn't
going on.
question the very same.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Right to ask.
Yep. So second for discussion.
Okay, so I'm second for discussion.
Great.
There we go. Now
So we're going to training for trustees again. Okay.
My only question is that this fall training, yes, is normally for
Village officials.
clerks and treasurers. Most of it is, indeed it is.
There'll be academy there as well.
We're doing the academy training there, that's all. And it's the same if we were doing it at home, it's not incurring any other fees on the village taxpayers for meals.
I thought
Right,
it was-
right, right, right.
registration.
I am done, I got mine. I got mine. I think there's a whole other piece of it.
Well,
I'm
I'm
not.
for discussion on this, again, everybody's going to training for trustees, and I don't think we need Lino, we don't need you anymore, because we're all experts in this thing. This is why, the managers should go for training. I understand other things online, but this is money, we're going to training for Saratoga, Lake Placid, Lake George.
And the
This is
trustees
great.
are paying the entire way except for registration.
Well, whatever it should be, I was using my money, and I was buying stuff for everybody, you have brought none of that back to us at all, and there we go, so.
That's an untruth.
That's absolutely untrue.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's vote.
I tried, but we want to discuss this, we don't ask about anybody else.
Okay, so consider approval
You.
for training course for 2 trustees for the total of $1,150. Make a motion?
You already did. You seconded it for discussion.
Just need to,
So, roll call.
Randy?
Aye.
Charlie?
I vote aye, it's in their budget.
Randy?
Aye.
I'm against it. Stephen?
Aye.
Cynthia?
You seconded it. You seconded it. You approved it by someone voted. All right, so,
Can you clarify for me?
yeah, so,
Four are for it, and I'm against it.
you seconded the motion.
Seconded the motion.
We voted in favor of.
I think you're done. Okay, so whatever it is,
All right, so you made a mistake, so let's redo that motion now.
I think right from the beginning, I think.
But when you second, you're seconding the motion that's
All
on
right,
the table. So,
consider approval for training course for 2 trustees, registration only for $1,150. I am against this.
okay, so I need a motion.
So Steve, I made the motion.
Steve made a
We're
motion.
gonna second it,
The second.
but,
No, I said,
You can't.
who's the second? I'm not seconding, I'm saying.
okay, so you're not seconding this, I need a second.
I'm saying who's seconding it, that's what I said.
Somebody, yeah, can someone second the motion?
That's what I said.
Second, right,
But
so,
that's just what you said right there, is what I said.
we're good.
So it's still 4 aye and
One no,
One no.
fine,
Okay.
that's all now, great, thank you.
Okay.
No, I never voted for it. Consider the LPR deferral due of $175,000.
Now we got another.
What is that?
Do the top one first.
All right, consider the approval, I'm sorry. Consider the approval of the budget for rules for 25-26.
Budget transfers.
Consider the LPR deferral
Don't,
due.
make a motion on the budget transfers.
Consider the approval of the budget for the rules of 25-26. All right, I got that.
Budget
I got it, I
transfers.
got it.
Yeah. There's a whole big list of them.
I got it. I got it.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second
You
it.
know, do we have to read them?
I'm not gonna say who's
No.
second.
Can't we just do them all?
All right.
You can do, vote on that as presented.
Okay.
We have discussion. Brian, thank you so much for getting this to us. I think yesterday we were able to review it and go over it. We like that.
No problem.
All right. So we had a second on this?
We already did, we just need to vote.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
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 Consider the LPR deferral remove of $175,517.40.
You want to explain that?
That's part of the LETAC grant that the police department received. We're just using a majority of it now, for equipment at the police department and things like that.
So we're just moving it out of the grant
Just
into the
moving it,
budget?
that's all.
So you raised,
So we're creating on the budget a revenue and an expense line, so that it balances out. We're replacing this grant in full.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We already did.
You did? Sure.
We didn't do that. No,
Oh.
not with the license plate. We didn't do that. This one.
So,
Oh, you know what? Probably isn't on your calendar.
All right.
You can get it.
Perfect.
Thanks for the license plate.
Sorry.
Okay, we're ready to vote.
I don't know what we're ready to do, because there was so many
Can I
different
reiterate
discussions.
it?
Yes, please.
So what's happened is, this wasn't a late addition, but because there's little reviews right now, we needed to add it on. So it's the LPR revenue and expense has to be hired by $175,517.40. That's a grant that was given to the PD last year. And then whatever's remaining will be deferred, which is $2,092.78 to the next budget. So that's what you're voting on.
Thank you, Greg.
So I have Cynthia motion, Steve seconded, I need a roll call if you don't mind.
Yes.
Roll call. You gotta call.
Roll call?
Darlene?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Okay.
Are we doing a roll call?
Yeah, you do a roll
You
call.
gotta do the rest. You were the other two.
It's Steve and Cynthia.
I did. I did, and I said Cynthia, Stephen, me.
No.
All right, we'll do it again. Stephen?
Yeah, aye.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Aye. Darlene?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye. No, they put it.
Okay. Discuss audit and expense.
Now we're gonna do improvement selection.
I think we
We
already
did
did.
it, we did it approved.
I think you said B.
No, I'll go back to it.
B.
Discuss the audit and expense. We've done that already. I know.
Yeah.
Old business B.
Consider approving the selection of the accountant. Did we do that? That was the one you...
We did for the
Just
audit.
the audit.
Just for the audit,
The
That's what
accounting
you meant,
services
right?
themselves, we have not, the board has not voted on who they want. And my suggestion was RBT, but
Oh, I thought that was in the,
That was just for the audit, we voted on.
just to go.
okay. I'll make the motion that we use RBT, because that's what he wants.
Do we have a fee schedule?
Yeah.
You know what it is?
$25,000.
No,
No,
$25,000
that's
for the
an
audit.
order.
This
We
is-
need an accountant.
Can we put out a request for a fee schedule on what they're giving us for that?
Never mind.
Should we send it to the same two firms that didn't have the time or capacity to do the audit, since those are the other two local?
We can send it back to them if you'd like.
We don't, I mean, we don't have to consider it, but we should, get a couple of quotes, right?
Well, the RBT quote has hourly cost for service and things like that. Outside of the audit, estimate. The other two said that they didn't have the time. They had called to go to Montgomery. So if the board wants me to go to the Moore County first, then we'll go like that.
You comfortable with these guys?
What's best practice?
Comfortable with me, sure they're-
If you're comfortable with that?
They seem pretty professional, they have a lot of experience in municipal.
And they'll be the one doing the audit, so they're gonna.
Right, and we can always send it out for interest again next year. We don't, okay.
I'll still make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
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 Randy?
Aye.
Consider approving the handbook that should include the bullets that were provided to the prior attorney, past attorney, Bill Frank.
So what you received a handbook that was revised by my partner. So you have it, there were no changes to it, so I would recommend is adopting the handbook, subject to the condition that changes be made to the handbook at least quarterly going forward.
I'll make that motion.
Motion for discussion.
I'll second for discussion.
This handbook is probably running somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 to create a handbook for a local municipality.
Really stinks because I asked the former mayor to hire RBT to just do one for us at a cost of $1,400 in August of 2023. So that does stink that we're now 2 lawyers in and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more. But you live and you learn. Now we know better.
$10,000 to $15,000 for a municipal handbook.
It's done.
That one was penny wise and pound foolish for sure.
It's like a
Here we are.
$500 hammer.
All right, so let's approve it.
Let's-
Not spending money.
So you got a motion, you got a second, you know.
Cynthia?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
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 Randy?
Aye.
Discuss procedure for the FOIL appeals officer.
So I agree. So you guys had FOIL training for my partner, and he's conducted a bunch of FOIL trainings throughout the valley. So one of the things that he found out, so in your code, and this is really up to the board, in other jurisdictions, we see where like mayor, you're the appeals officer. So usually the village clerk gets the FOIL request, but then if there's an issue with the FOIL that you're not happy with, the satisfied with the response, it goes on appeal, and you are the appeals officer. Some places don't like to do it that way because it puts you kind of in the middle with respect to FOIL. So let's say it deals with the FOIL request for you or your fellow trustees. We've been asked in other jurisdictions to change that so you can make it whoever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be you, but you have the ability as a board to decide who you want it to be. It could be me as village council, it could be whoever. But my partner, I noticed when we did the training, when we saw that it's you. So it's up to you whether you want to continue that role or you want to change that. That's all.
Well, if we gave it to you, it would be another expense to the village.
You would, yeah, I'm doing FOILs now. We get a bunch of FOILs requests every day. So I can work with the village clerk
Never
every day.
foiled anything, so I'm not familiar with the procedure.
We know. I think it should be a temporary change.
We have to do by local law, because it's in your code. So.
Okay, but if we do that, can we put a kid, like some sort of, no, because I'm going to do it, appeal to local law. I was going to say, can we put some sort of information in there that says if the mayor or a designee has adequate FOIL training, then they can, then we can appoint somebody else, but we have to repeal it every time.
You have to do by local law, right? Again, it was just something that brought up that my partner, because he did the training here, he had brought it up because he looks at all these codes throughout the state. And he basically picked that up because, again, there are a couple of places that we do this for where they change that within the mayor and they get someone else.
Well, I could say this, had the FOIL.
Again, by the way, it doesn't have to be village attorney, but I'm just saying in places they've done town or village attorney. I know some of the counties do the county attorney as the appeal officer. And again, it's just whatever practice, but I'm just saying as to you, he just pointed out, sometimes mayors or supervisors don't want to be the appeals officer in a town municipality.
Yeah, if the FOIL came in front of me, now, I don't want to give up the authority I think we need to have local authority. We can't be contracting out all over the place to different places. And when we look for another attorney for something, I always go to you first.
Right, you do.
I consider you in-house. Okay, something like this, I would, if an appeal came to me, I would contact you. However, I would want to retain that authority.
Right, so when you do
Or
that,
his position, not me, the position of the mayor.
right, or you can, one way to do it is you keep the role, right, but he says in cases of conflict, you go to this person, right, so it could be your attorney, it could be whoever you want to make it, but that's.
Or advice even if it's not the conflict.
Yes, but I'm saying if it's an appeal that involves you, Mayor, for example, you should probably select someone else to do that as the appeal. So that's all, just to give you options in your code, that was basically.
Sure.
So we could pay him to advise us on a FOIL, but we won't make him the appeals officer for when there's a sticky situation and there's an appeal.
I didn't hear that.
You just said we don't want to pay him to be the appeals officer, but we're going to pay him to advise us if you're seeking his advice and guidance on a FOIL.
That would be the mayor, not the mayor's discretion on something like that. When you automatically contract out, you now belong to something that you have to continue to pay. I don't like spending money. So some things you could look at and say, no, they're not going to get that. Some things I could say, well, I need advice on that. But it leaves the discretion to the office of the mayor. When you contract with one person, then you're always running up a bill. I don't like running bills.
But what you can do, you can make anybody. So you can say it's not you. It's only on appeal, not during regular FOIL. It's only
I understand
appeal.
what it is.
You can say it's you as the appellate officer, and then in cases where you have conflict, you can say it's the deputy mayor. Sorry, I was just throwing an example. Didn't mean that. But I'm saying you can make it, or another trustee. You can make it as long as you have someone else other than you. It's probably
I
good
got
practice.
it. We talked about it on the phone today.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yep.
I got it. I just do not want to give up our local.
It could be whoever you want it to be. But again, a lot of places have it as council. Because to Mayor's point, you're paying me anyway to do these FOILs. You can be able to redact, we have to look at. So that's why other places do this as either the town or village attorney have an appellate role. Not all places. Some of them have the deputy mayor, some of them have the deputy supervisor. It depends how you want to structure it. But I just raise it because it was raised when we did the training here that, again, we have changed those provisions in other places where they have that.
Well, without bringing it up, had we had a village manager or an administrator, a lot of these things would be taken care of by him. So there would be, the expenses would not be there.
we'd be paying him anyway.
I've seen that too, where you had to build a contract, get the appeals officer.
Yeah, so, all right, just discuss the procedures.
Does anybody else have thoughts on it?
I guess my problem is if he's doing them already, and you're redacting them, he's already put them. It would not be a second charge, right? You know,
No, it's just,
It's
right.
the original charge.
It's the same thing.
We're not adding-
So you don't have a
We're
FOIL?
in time.
So we would have to create a
We're in
local
time.
law to change it, to have.
The appeals officer, the appeal officer is currently there, right?
Well,
No, then we don't change
the FOIL, so he 1,000% is on FOIL.
It's for an appeal, so if I foil something and it gets denied and I wanna appeal it, it goes to the mayor.
And the attorney should only see it based on an appeal. That's it.
Has this even happened? Has this happened?
Okay, so if you guys think about it.
Okay, moving on.
Move on.
You can't see it, like some YouTube.
Is that all we just discussed that?
Yep.
We're not doing that?
No, we're not doing that because
Discuss full housing certification.
we're not, we're something to read or somebody gets something.
We're going to need to discuss on that.
Wow, yours is.
Thank you for everything else.
You have something you're supposed to read, right? Yeah.
This is what the email I just made. I'm sorry. Homes and community renewal. Dear Mayor, thank you for submitting the Village of Montgomery's application to the New York State Co-Housing Community Program. We are delighted to inform you that we have completed the review of your application, and the Village of Montgomery has been certified as a pro-housing community. The housing shortage that New York faces affects residents of all ages and income levels, and the urgent need to take action to address the issues is only growing. In New York State, rents 40 to 60% burden, meaning that rents are rent burden, meaning that they pay more than 30% of their income on rent. The second highest rate in the nation. Here at HCR, we understand that the nexus between supply and affordability. In order to achieve the true equity of opportunity and erase the gaps, this is wrong words here, gaps in access to health, education, and well-building, we must guarantee that people have a choice as to where they live and raise their families. Heard that before. So much for the housing progress we have made, and we want to make dependent on the support of municipalities like yours, who are on the front lines helping families fight for housing and meeting needs. As certified pro-housing communities, the Village of Montgomery will now be eligible to apply for various discretionary funding programs with up to $750 million in funding availability. We are excited that the Village of Montgomery has chosen to join the Pro-Housing Communities Program, and we look forward to continuing to work with the Village of Montgomery to ensure that all New Yorkers have access to safe, affordable, and equitable places to live. All right. That's the Walden House, Farmers Market. Brianna? This is all what we discussed about having the things in the village.
Hi. Hello. Hi, my name is Brianna, and I am the current on-site manager of the Boardwalk House Bed and Breakfast. Last village meeting, I did run over sporadically when the discussion of a possible farmers market was brought up due to Goshen and a bunch of other villages and municipalities having different, more so farmers market, vendors markets going on pretty much throughout the summer into the fall winter season. So I'm here today to share that I would like to, or I am more than likely, I am starting a farmers market. The way that the farmers market is going to work is the official start date I would like to coincide with the last 3 summer concert series. It's going to take place on the Borland House front lawn. I actually have been asking about this for about two years, up until now, so 2 to 3 years of discussion, just trying to find out if I had to go through the village, get approvals for anything. Come to find out, we are a private property, so I don't need to, but I like to make people aware of what is going on, just because even though there's not going to be any road blockages, anybody's going to get blocked out of their house or anything, there still might be an influx. I don't know. But as far as how it's going to start is starting on Thursday with the very first concert series. We are going to start doing pop-up craft vendors. I would like to build this as I go along. So I am mainly looking for, as of right now, produce vendors, plant vendors, and handmade items. There is going to be not so much a committee, but there's going to be a 3-person group that picks out the vendors that are going to be displaying at this farmer's market. As of right now, there's 10 spots available. 2 of them are already given away. One of them is for Keith Daughtry of Murder Mystery Manhattan, who is going to be running our gift shop as the pop-up outside of the house during the summer concert series, as he's going to be joining our gift shop. And then the other tent will actually be mine. I'm going to pop up and do base painting when available. In addition to that, we are going to be doing a sip and sit on the porch with the Borland House. So it's going to take place from 4:30 to 8:30 when the concert series ends. So it's going to be an evening farmers market pop-up event. The sip and sit, it is going to have mimosas like we do for brunch and everything. So that's just more so you can come order a mimosa and sit relax on the porch. You don't leave the property with our mimosa glasses, but I feel like that's a given. They're really pretty glasses. I'd like to not lose them. So it would be a family-friendly community event and the ability to expand upon it. I was gonna save this for a later date upon expansion, but eventually I would like to kind of move it into the house, so have vendors outside and inside and do holiday themed events. A big one for me was I grew up in Westchester, so up until age 9, I was going to Lyndhurst Manor, and I was going to all of these different holiday events that they had. They had the Legoland one, they had the Storybook Christmas, and I would love to do something like that in the historic Borland House.
Where was that?
Lyndhurst Manor. It's a big, giant, just historic building.
What town?
Tarrytown.
Yeah, it's Tarrytown.
Where?
Tarrytown.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, they have the jack-o'-lantern plays there as well. And there's a lot that I have planned and that I would like to do, but this pretty much would run from August to November, granted that there's no snow in October. So I would like the village's support in terms of just marketing. I'm also going to go around and talk to the other businesses. We would not be doing food. My goal with this is to also bring foot traffic to the village, that we have so many restaurants that people can eat at. Go support the restaurants. I'm going to talk to the local shops as well to see if they wanted to do a pop-up in terms of in our gift shop, because the gift shop itself will be open on top of us being outside. So we could have like little shelves or tables with each of the different stores that are in the village.
Yeah, maybe like a couple specials, you know?
Volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing, volunteering for your community. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if anybody needs to know my qualifications in terms of this, in case the public needs to know, I actually, so I worked at the Renaissance Fair. I started at 14. I have done vendor fairs and face painting since I was 14. And I'm actually a licensed esthetician, and I used to work for Benefit Cosmetics as an arch expert and used to do pop-up events for the makeup brand itself, as well as assisting with other makeup brands in their pop-up events. And obviously, now that I'm at the Borland House, I host events there all the time. So, just wanted to bring awareness.
Thank you.
Of course.
It sounds like you're starting it in like a very sustainable way.
Mm-hmm.
And good luck. And let me know if you need contacts for some of the vendors that were at other previous events. So it's a shareable list. Everybody's always happy to get it, so I would be happy to share that with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, we have a wall board meeting scheduled for July 28, 2026, at 6 p.m. at the Montgomery Montgomery Senior Center, something hasn't happened in years, where all the boards get together. Some of the people we don't even know who's on other boards. And just get together. Kumbaya kind of, but just know who on the other board, where we're going, what we're doing. Something that should happen at least once a year. So, with that, I open this up to public portion. Please, you have to stay within 3 minutes and leave. Let's be professional. Thank you. Yes, future of Montgomery. Grand Marshal. Give me a second.
Oh, I'm gonna turn around until we start talking.
Mary Lippincott, Robert Street, Montgomery. At the beginning of June, when we came to the village board meeting, we all found this paper lift on our seats. And it was explained by a trustee what this was for, and hopefully future meetings would adhere to this. The next board meeting, that lasted approximately a half hour before chaos and disrespect prevail. I can see that this will not prevail because of disrespect by the trustees towards the mayor and the deputy mayor. Looking up how a meeting in the real world is run, there is just one chairman. You must be recognized by the chairman before you speak. Yelling over the chair is disrespectful and unrecognized. Once a motion has been placed before the board and seconded, it is voted on, and you can ask for discussion at that time. Yelling out by trustees when they have not been recognized by the chair is not the way a properly run meeting goes. I wish the board would go home and watch the live stream of the board meetings, and maybe you will recognize why the Village of Montgomery board meetings are such a joke in Orange County. Many times I go home and watch the live stream because I cannot believe how the order of the meeting deteriorates in such a short time. And this is the first time in 2 years where the board meeting has had any semblance of order.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, please.
Evening, Don Berger. First, I want to thank Darlene going on Butler. That was going to be one of my questions, so that's pretty cool. I really appreciate the treasurer coming up there and giving his thing to me. I really, really do appreciate it. But I do have questions for you. You're talking about a reimbursement, but more importantly to me is how is that going to affect the tax rate? Because if you don't adjust the tax rate, that's going to recur over year, over year, over year, over year, and never end. So that increase, except for this year, will still apply.
John, it's not a question and answer, just saying. He can get back to you on it.
I think I know. I've been around here quite a bit. I don't have to be, interrupted all the time every time I come up here, okay? Get tired of it. So the other thing is that you didn't talk much about the escrow accounts. The escrow accounts to me is extremely important because the bankers are not aware of what you're trying to do here. So I'm kind of curious as to how that would affect escrow accounts. People who pay their taxes up front, it's very simple. But people who pay through escrow, it's not as simple as you addressed it, and I'd like there's some clarity on that. My final thought is at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we talked about that $20,000 that the clerk had spoke about, that she found it. My question is that money readily available, or is it something that it's bonded, or what's the deal, because that was never clarified? And has the village mayor, DPW, and the rest of the board members discuss what you're going to do with that $20,000?
Thank you. Next up.
Good evening. At the last meeting, Trustee Imbriani brought up the Marin Court issue. I wasn't too interested in this because it's not in my backyard, which is how most residents look at things. After hearing the building inspector talk about it, it raised my interest because of the public safety issue. I visited the site like any public servant should and was surprised that there was no turnaround for fire apparatus. Also, I did not see a fire hydrant at the end of that street, which would have been vital for the residents that reside there. Some appear to be multifamily residences. I guess my question to the board members that voted on this subject is, did you do research? Did you visit the site and see all the options? Really important, did you sit down with a police, fire, and EMS for their input? Again, I personally didn't care because it wasn't my concern at the time. Now I'm going to weigh in as a responsible person with the fire department who cares about public safety as well as residential concerns. Just to be clear, this area is not in a field of play. It is in a wide space between two fields. Do I personally think the dirt pile should have been removed without first contacting all affected parties? No. Do I think there should have been a paved roadway through that area? No. Do I believe that there should be an emergency access exit with a gate? Absolutely. They make bricks that go underneath below the surfaces that are covered with dirt and grass that is grown on top of it for emergency vehicles. There should be a walkable access for pedestrians and bicycles there. There could be an easy solution to this problem if there was communication with everyone involved. One knee-jerk reaction shouldn't have led to another. This board did not do important research based on the building inspector's concerns. Shame on you. On a Little League concern, my wife and I volunteered for our Little League for about 15 years. Cindy did the concession stand as a member of the Ladies Auxiliary, and I as a board member, coach, and manager. There was about 425 kids in our system, and they were all from within the boundaries of the village of Montgomery. Walden had their own Little League program, Maybrook had their own Little League program. We did this with a talented group of people, with Wayne Vitro as the Little League president for many years. We seen the building of the concession stand from a little shack that was right over here to the new one that was built over there. We seen the addition of 2 fields to meet the youth in our league. Fred Flood, who attends a lot of these meetings, can verify this. On a recent visit, I was appalled that the village ruined a Little League field so that many of us labored and raised funds to build only to install pickleball courts. Nothing against the pickleball courts. They are great recreation, which I support. When I was there, they were being used by many of our young population, which I was incredibly happy to see. It's just another example of how the thought process did not go into how it would affect the Little League program. It is again another example where thought did not go into the process. I would like to see Trustee Imbriani express outrage over this that affected his beloved Little League. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, please.
Mark Palczewski, 214 Tompkins Road. I just have a few comments. First one is, I went to the Food Truck Festival. It was very good. Good job, Lori and Tracy. It was excellent. I brought my family down there. Second comment is, I don't know why you're arguing about the budget process, because I went online and I found a document called Understanding the Budget Process by the State Controller Thomas D. Napoli. Seems to be the document you should use. And Mayor, I disagree with you on a lot of things, but you're correct. You're the budget manager, and you should present the budget to the board. You were correct basically in what you said. But just follow that document. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Just follow that document. It seems to be what you should be doing. Cynthia mentioned the intermunicipal wastewater treatment plant. I was at that meeting in the town, and I asked about cons for the village, and there were no cons, so I agree with what Cynthia said. I don't think it's proper to make fun of training and education. I think you should attend it, Mayor. I think it would help you. I think the treasurer, you're off to a great start. Thank you for all your work. You're doing a great job, I think. How much time do I have? Okay. Lastly, on I'm on the Wallkill River Watershed Alliance, and we've decided to we've talked about the wipes, the disposable wipes, Jake. And I've talked to Assemblyman Marr's office, to Megan, and I'm going to try to see if he's interested in getting some legislation done so we can change the packaging to make it to take non-flushable off the packaging, maybe in New York State, because you're just not the only community. I think the town of Esopus and Bloomingburg have the same issues. In fact, the village had a huge issue over there with the wipes. So it doesn't prevent people from using it, but if people see it's non-flushable, maybe you'll get a certain percentage who don't use it. Maybe it'll cut down on the cost. So I'm asking if it's okay if, Jake, you could provide me with some documentation on the issues you have with it, the costs involved, and the problems that it causes, so that I can present this to the Assemblyman, and I can ask more communities to do that, and maybe that'll help back up the claims, and maybe we can get something done at the state level.
Okay.
So, and as far as what Mary Lippincott said, yeah, these meetings are just horrible. I hear snide remarks. I hear, it's just, you don't listen to each other. I said this multiple times. You look for ways to pick on each other, and that's what causes the discontent, and you're really doing a disservice to the people of this village when you do that. And that goes to everyone up there. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, my name is Walt Wahookie, 99 Union Street. The microphones, I appreciate everyone that was involved in getting them, but they're not here yet, and I didn't see a lot of people using them. So while they're not here yet, just use them, please, so we can hear. And then I hope that they'll be here for next meeting, so that's the hope. Butler, thank you to Darlene and everyone who was involved in making that happen. That's been a long time. Board of Elections, my understanding that at some point this board voted to get paid from the Board of Elections to host the early voting here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's a board that voted for that. I, as a voter, did appreciate that it is here. And any events that were scheduled, when the early voting has happened, I think that's pretty far in advance. So the seniors could have planned something that wasn't during early voting. So I don't think we should vilify the voting process, which it seemed like that's what was happening. Mayor and Court, I didn't hear an update regardless of how anyone feels about it. The board did decide to plant trees there, so I didn't hear an update on the status of that. So maybe after public comment, as we've talked about before, someone could just comment on that. Training, I've said this many times. Thank you to the board members and the employees for choosing to attend this training, which is valuable. There is value in training, and thank you for the board members who are here who value training. Some of you don't, so that's unfortunate. Robert's Rules of Orders, I think we should all review that. Food Truck Festival, I wasn't able to attend. My adult children and their partners came and they said they had a great time, so thank you for that. And yeah, there's tons more on the old business, but thank you for those of you who are choosing to work on those items.
Good evening, Karina Tipton, Union Street. I have a question. I'm not going to be able to attend the budget meeting next week, unfortunately, but I did have a question that I'd like the trustees to consider as they're going through discussions next week. I'm very excited about the research that was shared this evening from the treasurer. You all probably know this because I talk about it all the time, but I'm a huge fan of envelope budgeting. I love having multiple savings accounts. I think it's a huge improvement over having just one pot of money and not knowing where it's going, and just trusting an outside spreadsheet to kind of keep track of how much money you've got for each allocated fund. That's not an easy way to keep track of money, but having a dedicated savings account is an easy way to keep track of how much money you have in the sewer fund or how much money you have in the water fund. I think that's a huge improvement. One thing that I did want, as this additional $800,000 to $850,000 of undesignated and unappropriated funds are being discussed, I've heard several things discussed tonight that the village needs to spend money on: accounting services, audits for the future, The mayor said that we were going to have our engineers come up with a plan for our sewer now that we're no longer going to be able to enter into an intermunicipal agreement. There's a lot of things that we need to earmark for the future, and keeping in mind what those earmarks should be and coming up with a strategic budget plan for the future, I think would be a very good use of your time. I also wanted to share that I have heard these comments about the elections held in the senior center for some time now, and it's my recollection in prior elections that were held under previous village management, the Board of Elections shared space with the seniors. The seniors were able to come in and have lunches or queue up or take a break from the heat if there was a heat event, and that was just a matter of coordination. And so I would also just recommend, and I know that there is no representative tonight from the senior leadership, but I would just recommend, like Walt said, elections are scheduled very early in advance. There's an election calendar that's published by the state of New York very early in the year, and it would be very easy to look at that calendar and to understand where cooperation might be necessary, so we can, have civic engagement and also have support for our senior citizens or for others that are using the park or the senior center. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call an audible, not set the place on fire tonight and do a different speech than what I had planned. I want to be critical a little bit of some of the legal advice you guys might be getting, because all deliberations of the board happen in public, not in private meetings, not in group texts, or in a series of calls. At the last meeting, there was an idea of approving some kind of process for private meetings. And I'm not sure why your attorney didn't advise you that private meetings are not something you could do. Once there's 3 of you someplace discussing business, all ears are on you. You can't hide your mouths somewhere else. So I'm not sure why that wasn't said. If I'm wrong about open meetings on that regards, please correct me, but I don't think that I am. Not only is the public permitted or actually entitled to witness the decisions of the board, we're entitled to every ounce of deliberation that went into that decision. Whether it was one email to another, a series of phone calls, a group text, a group chat, or any other means of communication, the public is entitled to every single little bit of deliberation. You can't have private meetings. Your lawyer didn't tell you this for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't do it in public and did it in private. You can't have private meetings, period, and discuss village business, period, cold stop, without offering that information to the public. There's also no such thing as budget workshops, special meetings, or any of these other titles you guys, not just you guys, everyone seems to do it, gives to meetings. They're all meetings of the public body. That's the only thing recognized by open meetings law. Meetings of a public body. Village board, town board, planning board, board of education, etc. There's 3 kinds: scheduled, unscheduled, and executive session. That's it. Those other titles you guys give are nothing. They're really meaningless. They're nicknames. They're not bona fide meetings. I don't know why someone's not telling me that. The board said, let's see, I got to read the chicken scratch. Oh, you guys said you were hiring the same accountant that botched the budget numbers for evaluating the PBA and contract, as well as the DPW contract for a 5-year outlook or something, for $3,000 that came out of, I believe you guys said, the celebrations line, which was already cut in half. Did you guys ever hire that guy and pay him? Because if you did, we should see that result of what he said and what those findings were, and to be evaluated by everybody, because clearly he doesn't know how to do math. The clerk is a records officer. FOIL's going through the attorney. Why? Why are the FOILs going through the attorney's office? The clerk is the records keeper. That's the charge of the clerk by statute. Why is the attorney saying, well, we're already doing the FOILs anyway, but you could make us the FOIL's appeals officer. Okay, judge, you denied, you found me guilty, and my lawyer files an appeal. You don't file it with the same judge. It's got to be heard by somebody different. So you can't be part of the FOIL process and be part of the FOIL's appeals process. There's got to be separation there. Going to training and saying we don't want the money for the hotel or we don't want the money for this or that is a corruption hazard. Why? Who paid for the hotel if not you? Are you providing the receipts, proof of payment? How do we know you weren't taking an unauthorized gift of over $75, for example? These are all corruption hazards. And lastly, I would like someone to define what is a village event and what is not a village event. Because I was solicited for money for an event from village letterhead, in the village envelope, and I just let it sit, so I didn't know what I was doing with that. And I'm very generous with all kinds of events, people know that, so I sat and I don't know what it is. Thank you.
Okay. Next up.
So I just want to read an email that I had gotten from the village office, Lori and I, in April. It says, Lori and Tracy, all residents who want to speak will not be placed on the agenda moving forward. The residents will speak during public portion as per the board. I'm letting you know so when the agenda comes out, you're not blindsided. This was an entire board decision. You can speak about the items you would like to discuss during public portion. So my question, and you're not going to answer, where are the meeting minutes for that? If it was an entire board decision, there was more than 3 of you, and besides, since this has come to me, there has been plenty of people on the agenda. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next. All right. Starting with that way, which is, someone better than was last week, and I thank Jake for everything he did.
It's hard to hear you.
Mike's right there.
I thank Jake for everything he did during this. These guys, our village staff, they went above and beyond. They really did. So I thank these guys for everything you do. Have a safe summer, guys. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?